A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Jerry at Fair Oaks.
Boy, is this going to be fun. I've never been on anything like this before, Lee. Have you?
Once. A long time ago. But then it was just small teams. Maybe 5 or 6 on a side. And we didn't have a big place like this to hunt around in, either.
I wonder where they'll put the treasure.
Probably in some place no one would think of looking for it. Maybe up as far as General Ben's place.
General Ben? Who's General Ben?
Well, you know him. He's the old soldier I told you all about.
Oh, but I didn't know his name before. You didn't mention it.
I thought I did. Yeah, his name is Benjamin Franklin Dent. Everybody calls him General Ben.
Was he a real general?
Nobody knows. First time I ever saw him, he was in town. He had on a Spanish-American war tunic and a lot of medals.
And maybe he is a real general.
Maybe. I know that when he goes into any of the stores in Fair Oaks, he gives commands as though he owns the whole town. You know, the funny part of the whole thing is that when he does talk, everybody jumps. Mac was telling me one time that old General Ben fought in 3 or 4 wars.
Gee, that many?
Well, he must have been in the Spanish-American War. And Mac said that he was in the Philippines and some of the Indian wars. Well, that's 3 wars right there.
Boy, I'll bet he sure could tell some stories if he wanted to.
Yeah. I heard Major Davis say once that General Ben has stuff in his cabin that a museum would like to own.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, Philippine mahogany carvings, rugs from all over the world, ivory statuettes, things like that. He picked them up from all over the world.
Gee, I'd give anything to see all that stuff.
No chance of that. Old General Ben keeps pretty much to himself.
Oh, what's the good of having all that swell stuff if nobody can look at it?
I guess he gets a kick out of it himself. Some people do, you know. Just like to look at them.
Uh-huh. Say, isn't all that stuff pretty valuable? Worth a lot of money?
Must be if museums would like to have them. I heard Major Davis say that the rugs alone, that is, some of them, are over 100 years old.
Must be pretty well worn out. Who'd want them?
Well, the older stuff like that gets, the more valuable it gets. Didn't you ever hear of a collector paying thousands of dollars for an old ring or a little statue?
Uh-huh. I guess General Ben doesn't realize he's got a lot of money after all.
I don't know. From what I've heard of the old fella, he's pretty smart. Nobody can pull the wool over his eyes.
I guess not. Well, there's Craig Field.
Yeah.
We're on the running track now.
Yep.
Gee, everybody in school turned out for this.
Everybody but poor Red.
Yeah, I felt kind of sorry for him last night.
So did I. Tubby sure laid it on thick.
Yeah, getting back at Red for all the nasty cracks Red made at him.
Yeah, and for the time Red made him get under the shower with his uniform on.
Say, what do you suppose Red meant by saying that he was going to do something about it?
I don't know. Guess he was just letting off steam. Like you did when you said you were going to ride Splendor and nobody else would.
Mr. Phillips, if you don't mind, I don't like to be reminded of that unpleasant episode in the life of Jerry Dugan, Esquire.
Okay, Jerry. Hey, we better get a move on. The rest of the fellas are lining up.
Uh-huh. Come on.
You guys? Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, the evening was perfect, and now look.
Hi, Tubby.
Hi, fellas. Well, all ready for the treasure hunt?
Yep. How about you?
Sure. Look it.
What you got there?
Well, if any of you guys are lucky to be on the same squad with me, you won't get hungry.
Holy smoky. He's got sandwiches stuffed in those pockets.
Good night, Tubby. You know what happens if you get caught with those.
Listen, I'm not going to be caught out on the lake shore with nothing to eat. No telling how long this hunt might go on.
Okay. Come on, you're holding us up.
Forward march!
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Boy, there sure has been a lot going on out here. You ought to see the envelopes Carl Lockhart got from Captain Bogart.
What's in them?
Well, I don't know. Instructions, I guess.
Say, I've got a hunch that they're really going to make this hunt pretty tough.
I should worry. I brought along my lunch.
Hey, there's Captain Lockhart now. He's our team captain, Lee.
Yeah, I know. Myron Radford's captaining the other team.
Say, I hope we're on the same squad.
Oh, there'll be more than 3 fellas on a squad.
Yeah, should be.
I guess about 4 or 5. That'll make it about right.
Gee, Captain Lockhart is really loaded down with envelopes. Looks like we're really going to have to work to get that treasure. Yeah, I wonder what it is.
Well, don't worry about that until you get to it. Just remember, there's another team out here that'll do everything it can to stop our team from getting to the treasure first.
All right, hurry it up, you men. We haven't got all night. Come on, step on it.
I can see where I'm going to have trouble all night. If you guys are walking away with me this early in the game, I see where I'll end up just taking a walk all by myself. Hold it, will ya?
Tubby, if your legs could only match your appetite.
Whew.
Well, I'm glad we're off those cinders.
What would you do if you had to run the quarter-mile on them?
I'd dress for it.
Boy, I worked up an appetite.
All right, you men, line up there. All those on the gold team line up at the south end of the field. Come on, snap it up.
South end. Well, we're right here now. We don't have to go any further.
That's welcome news to these ears. I'm going to rest.
Cadet Young off the ground, get up.
Yes, sir. I almost had a rest.
No resting for you tonight, Tubby.
I'm beginning to see that.
Gee, we've got a big team.
The whole school's out for this. And when you divide a big school like Fair Oaks in half, well, you've got 2 pretty good-sized teams.
All right, men. Say shut.
That's Captain Bogart.
Quiet there. All right. I'm going to give you your instructions. Captain Gardner is giving the blue team its instructions. Pay attention now, because no excuse will be accepted later. Each team will be divided off into squads, as you know. Each squad will have a corporal appointed for the night by your team captain, Captain Lockhart. Each member of the gold team will wear one of these gold armbands to be distributed immediately. Fasten the armband on your left arm.
Tubby's going to have trouble with that. He can't tell his left foot from his right foot in drill.
I took care of that for tonight. I got a string tied to my left arm.
It's on your right arm now.
I know it. That's to remind me to fasten it on my left later.
I've given the armbands to Cadet Sergeant Conrad, who will distribute them while I'm giving the rest of the instructions. Pay attention now. Each squad corporal will be given an envelope containing clues. Clues as to the whereabouts of the first place you must look to find a hint leading to the second clue. There are 6 clues in all. The final clue leading directly to the treasure. I needn't tell you the boundaries, because the clues, if you figure them out and follow them correctly, will keep you well within bounds. In just a moment. At ease.
Boy, is this going to be fun.
I'll say. Hey, here's your armband. They're passing them down the line.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir. And you'll notice that I'm fastening it on my left arm.
Right for once, Tubby. Now, why can't you do that in drill? Wouldn't have to spend so much time with the dummy squad.
I like the dummy squad. I meet a nice class of cadets.
All right. Yes, good. Now, one final word before your team captain passes among you and appoints squads and corporals. If any member of a team is captured by one of the opposing team, the captured cadet must return to the gymnasium. He is out of the game and may take no further part in it. If you capture a man of the blue team, take his armband and keep it. Now, if I were you, I'd decide upon a route to take. This game requires sharp wits. Luck has no part in it. Just skill and brains. All right, men, that's all. Captain Lockhart, take over.
Yes, sir. First squad, Cadets Dugan, Phillips, Young, and Morley. Cadet Phillips?
Yes, sir.
You'll be corporal of the first squad. Here are the instructions. You're not to open them until the whistle is blown for the start of the hunt. After it blows, each squad will be on its own. Avoid capture and get to the clues as quickly as possible. And remember, every squad on the other team will be trying to get there first. Listen, fellas, let's get in there and win. How about it?
Leave it to us, sir.
Okay, Tubby, I'll leave it to you. Second squad, Ken, Wallace.
Well, I wonder what the first clue is.
You can bet your life it won't be easy.
Captain Bogart said it would take brains.
Getting cold feet about it, Tubby?
Who? Me? Cold feet? Listen.
Pipe down, not so much noise.
Oh, we're sorry, Corporal Phillips. Tubby snapped attention there. Give Corporal Phillips a 45-degree angle salute.
I'm all out of 40-degree angles. Will you settle for a 40-degree, Corporal Phillips?
You can owe me the other 5. So you're going to give me trouble, are you, Cadet Dugan?
No, sir. I was merely giving you the respect due a corporal.
Hey, can I get in on this?
Oh, hello, Tom. You know Jerry, don't you?
Sure. Hiya, Jerry.
Hiya, Mr. Morley. You met our corporal, haven't you?
Sure. Greetings, Corporal Phillips.
Well, our whole squad is here now. Can't we start?
We have to wait for the whistle.
Well, they ought to blow it in a minute. The squads are about lined up. Captain Lockhart's way down the other end.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. When the whistle blows, we'll run off the field, cut around the tennis courts, and read our instructions in that clump of trees and bushes just to the right of the courts.
Well, how about the other team? The blue team.
Oh, well, they'll stay down at the north end. We'll be all right over there, where I sit.
There she blows.
Come on, squad.
Yes, sir, Corporal Phillips.
Come on, let's make for the tennis court.
Hot dog, we're out.
Come on, Tubby.
I'm going to have trouble all night. I can see that.
Looks like you had the right idea, Lee. No one else is making for the court.
Yeah, we'll be there in a second. Here, this way. We'll come over this way. Come on, there are the trees.
Hey, I've lost 5 pounds already.
Well, do you want me to carry you?
Don't be sarcastic, Tom Morley.
Okay, coast is clear. Here we are.
Yeah. Come on now. Let's get together and open that envelope.
Hey, Tubby, take a look around and see if we're alone.
Not a soul in sight.
Okay, stay out there where you can see. We'll talk loud enough for you to hear. Now.
What's it say, Lee? Where's the first clue?
Let's see. Hey, wait a minute. Listen to this. Twixt the name of Indian brave and the peak of San Juan's hill lies the clue which you will save to bring you nearer treasure's till. Well, what's that mean?
It's all Greek to me.
Indian brave, San Juan Hill. Hey, I think I've got something.
Yeah? What is it, Tom?
Well, Indian brave. What's an Indian brave's name we know? Hiawatha.
Sure, Tom, that's swell. Lake Hiawatha.
Great. Now, let's see. Twixt means between, so the clue's between Lake Hiawatha and San Juan's Hill.
Gosh, I don't know of any hill by that name around here.
Neither do I.
Whoa, I got it. San Juan Hill. Lee, Tom, San Juan Hill was famous in the Spanish-American War. And who was in the Spanish-American War around here?
General Ben.
Yeah.
Shh, not so loud. That must be it, though.
Okay, between Lake Hiawatha and the old fellow's cabin.
Sure.
And his cabin sits on a little hill, so the first clue is between there and the lake.
Yeah, but his cabin lies about 100 yards from the lake.
That's okay, Lee. It's probably a big clue. We'll be able to spot it easily. The later clues get harder.
Okay, let's go. We're wasting time. Hey, Tubby, come on.
Hey, did you figure it out? I couldn't quite hear.
Sure. The first clue is between old General Ben's cabin and the lake.
Way up there?
Well, you didn't think they were going to put it right under our noses, did you?
No, but that place. Gee, that's the spookiest place around here.
ladies and gentlemen, we suggest that you pay particular attention to an important announcement, which will be given at the end of tonight's program.
The story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Personnel Division. A resident of your city files a report of robbery and assault. The suspect, a rookie police officer. Your job, arrest him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke extra mild Fatima. Yes, Fatima is the king-size cigarette, which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give Fatima a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all, long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, transcribed in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, April 9th. It was foggy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of personnel. My partner's Ben Romero, the boss's deputy chief Holman, commander BIA. My name's Friday. We're on the way over from the city hall, and it was 5:25 p.m. when we got to Central Division. The assembly room.
How's it like?
See him, Joe? Yeah, that looks like him over there.
I'll let you know.
Hi. You Russell Clark?
Yeah, that's right.
Friday and Romero, personnel.
All right.
Lieutenant Drummond over at BIA would like to talk to you.
All right. When do you want to see me?
Right now.
Oh, okay. We're looking for Captain. Okay, let's go. What do they want to see me about, you know?
Drummond will tell you.
Okay.
How long you been on the job, Clark?
About 2.5 months.
How do you like it?
Oh, I like it fine. Wife doesn't think much of it. She wanted me to stay at my old job.
What was that?
Selling insurance. Likes to have me home nights. Doesn't like to be alone, especially now.
Yeah?
She's expecting me in a couple of months. You know how they get.
Yeah. That's close, yeah.
Hey, I put in a request for day work. Do you think that's why personnel wants to see me?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Boy, I'd sure like to get that day watch.
Yeah.
Is that the way you fellas started?
I did, yeah. You started in traffic, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah, Had 9 months of it. Go ahead, Clark.
No, thanks. I have to be on the job at 6. Think this going to take very long?
I don't know.
Hi, Friday.
Hi.
Right in. Lieutenant's waiting.
Personnel, Coleman.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, come here.
This is Officer Clark, Lieutenant Drummond.
How do you do, sir?
Oh, hey, Clark. Sit down.
Thanks.
Couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir?
You were on special duty at the Olympic Auditorium last night, is that right?
Yes, sir, for the fights.
Anything unusual happen out there last night?
Well, it wasn't very important, Lieutenant. After the fights, the drunk fell down the stairs. On the way out of the auditorium, broke his arm. I took him to Georgia Street, and they took care of the arm, and I drove him home. He was pretty drunk.
Why didn't you book the man?
I didn't think it was necessary.
How long you been with the department, Clark?
2.5 months, sir.
Didn't you know he should have been booked for violation of 4127 ALAMC?
Well, the man was in pretty bad shape, Lieutenant. Broken arm. I guess I didn't think the law was that strict.
Law's there for a purpose. You decided to forget it, now you're in a mess, right up to your neck.
I don't understand.
You remember the name of that drunk you took care of last night?
Yes, sir. His name was Stacy. Lives out in West L.A. What's the matter, sir?
That drunk, Mr. Stacy, wants to file a complaint against you.
What for?
He claims you took him back to the auditorium, beat him up, broke his arm, and robbed him of $128.
Oh, he's crazy. He's lying. I didn't do that.
Got his word against yours, Clark. Facts seem to favor him.
But I can prove it. Well, there was at least a couple of dozen people around. There was a doctor. He can tell you.
Maybe you better take it from the beginning, Clark. Exactly how did it happen?
I was right after the fights. I was on duty in the lobby, and I saw a bunch of people crowding around the foot of the stairs.
Yeah.
I went over to see what the trouble was, and they were looking at this man lying on the pavement. It was Stacy. A doctor was examining him.
This doctor, did he identify himself?
Yeah. I asked for his identification. He showed it to me. Gave me a card. He was a doctor, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he told me that he'd seen Stacy fall down the stairs coming out of the auditorium. Said that Stacy had broken his left arm.
What'd you do then?
Well, the doc said it'd be okay to move him, so I helped him into my car and took him down to Georgia Street. He was so drunk he could hardly stand up. The attendants at Georgia Street took care of his arm. Well, they can tell you all about this.
Maybe, but they can't help you out as witnesses. You could have beaten up Stacy, robbed him, then taken him to Georgia Street.
But I didn't, Lieutenant. Lieutenant, Stacy's lying.
What'd you do when you left Georgia Street?
Well, I drove into Central and told them what happened. I told the watch commander I was going to drive this Stacy home, and he warned me about it. Guess I should have known better, but... Well, I swear to you this Stacy's lying.
You should have known better. Where'd you go after you left Central?
Well, I drove him home. On the way, he said he was hungry, so I stopped. I bought him a sandwich and some black coffee. Kept telling me what a nag his wife was, said he was afraid to go home.
Go on.
Well, when I got him to his place, his wife started chewing me out. I just said goodnight and left.
That's it, huh?
That's it. So help me, that's exactly what happened.
Now, how about the doctor at the auditorium, the one who saw Stacy fall? Did you get his name and address?
Well, no, Lieutenant, I didn't. I didn't think it was necessary.
How about the crowd that was standing around? Did you spot anybody you know?
No, I didn't. They're just a bunch of people coming out of the fights.
Then you haven't got anyone to corroborate your story.
But all those people saw it. There must have been a couple of dozen of them.
What are their names?
Well, I don't know. All I know is I didn't beat him up and I didn't take his money. I tell you, the Stacy's lying.
You could be lying. We got no proof either way.
I'm not lying, Lieutenant. I didn't do it.
We might believe you, Clark. That doesn't make any difference. If this man files a 211 against you, it's got to be settled in court.
But I didn't do it. I tell you, I swear I didn't.
Just a minute. Mike, send in Mr. and Mrs. Stacy, will you? You can hear the story the way we get it from Stacy and his wife.
I'd like to hear it. I don't know why he's doing this to me. I helped him all I could.
Look, Jerry, there he is. That's the one.
Yeah, that's him, Chief.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Stacy. What's this all about?
Hold it, Clark. Mr. Stacy, would you repeat the same story you told us this morning, please?
You know what I told you, Chief. You had the stenographer take it all down. It's the same thing.
I'd like to have you repeat it in front of Officer Clark here. He's entitled to know what you're charging him with.
A man like that's entitled to nothing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Look, lady, your husband's lying.
Don't call my husband a liar. You're not a policeman. You're a hoodlum.
All right, wait a minute.
I'd like to know what this city's coming to. Cops going around beating up private citizens. Who do we trust if we can't trust a policeman?
Just a minute, please.
You don't know, Captain. You should have seen my husband when that officer brought him home last night. Arm all bandaged, his face all cut up. He was hurt so bad he could hardly stand up.
He was too drunk to stand up, lady.
Don't you get fresh with me.
All right, that's enough.
This cop got hold of me as I was coming out of the fights. Took me in back of the auditorium. Told me if I didn't hand over my wallet, he'd book me on a drunk charge.
Were you drunk, Stacy?
I was not. Had a couple of beers, that's all. When I wouldn't give him my money, he beat me up. Broke my arm and took my wallet.
How do men like you ever get on the police force?
He figured he'd cover up, so he took me and had my arm fixed at the emergency hospital. Then he drove me home. Threatened me all the way. He said, you tell anybody about this and I'll get you. That's just what he said.
I don't get it, Stacy. You know that story's a pack of lies. Why are you doing this to me?
It's the truth. And I'm going to press charges and get my money back.
$128. What have you done with it?
We can take care of the questioning, Mrs. Stacy.
I don't see you doing it. Make him tell. Where's our money?
I haven't got it.
Don't talk back to me.
Mr. Stacy, you and your wife want to file a crime report at this time.
We want to press charges.
Romero?
Yeah?
Take Mr. and Mrs. Stacy down to Record Bureau, have them make out a report for 211 and assault.
Right. Get them this way, please.
Now, listen. We're going to get action if we have to take this to the district attorney. We're not afraid of the publicity. We'll go to the newspaper if we don't get action.
Yes, ma'am.
What's it, Clark?
They're lying. I can't prove it, but they're lying.
Well, you can see the position it puts us in. If you're innocent, we'll do all we can. If you're guilty, we'll see you get everything that's coming to you.
But they're lying. You know that.
Not up to us. The court's going to have to decide.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, there's no other way, Clark. We got 4,500 men in the department. We don't claim they're all saints. Once in a while, a bad cop comes along, he pulls a caper, and all of us get a black eye. This book of rules is the only protection we got against that. By failing to enforce the law, you violated your duty as a police officer. Got yourself in a real mess, Clark. Like anybody else, you get a fair trial.
That mean I'm dropped from the force?
Those people have filed a crime report. Draw suspension pending the outcome of the case. After that, if you're cleared, there'll be a hearing before the Board of Rights.
Right through right now?
You'll be booked for robbery and assault and held in county jail. The case will be presented to the district attorney tomorrow.
What can I do?
I'll have to have your badge. On the desk. Your gun? ID card?
Yeah.
On the desk?
Yeah.
All right, Joe, that's it.
Okay.
Take him.
6 p.m. Ben returned to the office, and together we took rookie police officer Russell Clark across the street to the Hall of Justice. At the county jail booking desk on the 12th floor, he was booked on suspicion of 211 PC and assault with intent to do great bodily harm. He was lodged in the cell block. Investigating charges against a police officer involves exactly the same procedure as cases where private citizens are concerned. Prove the suspect innocent or guilty. That's the job. If Clark was innocent, it looked like there was only one way of proving it. That was somehow to find the unnamed doctor who was supposed to have seen Stacy fall down the auditorium stairs and then examined him afterward. If Clark was guilty, we had to find proof that his story about Stacy falling downstairs was a lie. Besides that, we had to find evidence that he beat up Stacy at the rear of the auditorium that night and that he robbed him of $128. Thursday, April 10th, Ben and I checked in for work at 7:45 a.m. and found a message from the jailer on the phone board. Clark wanted to see us right away. We met with him in the county jail interview room.
How you doing? Not too bad.
Don't let it sour you, huh?
Sergeant, you really think I rolled that character? Come on, tell me the truth.
We checked you out. Good family. You got a fine Army record. No, we don't think you did it.
I just can't understand why he picked me up. I tried to help him all I could. Then he walks in the next day with a frame story like that.
You got any idea why Stacy would pull something like this on you?
I don't know. I'm worried, Sergeant. Believe me, I can't afford to sit here missing my pay. We live pretty close to the budget with a baby coming. I'm worried about the wife. I just don't know what to do.
Are you sure you told us everything about this that you remember?
Well, that's the one reason I wanted to see you. I didn't sleep much last night. I kept trying to remember the name of that doctor.
Yeah?
Well, I remember once he did mention his name, and then when I asked for his identification, he showed me one of his cards.
Any idea what his name was?
Well, I'm not sure, but as I remembered, it was some kind of a Swedish or Norwegian name, something like Johnson, Tollefson, something with a son on the end of it. It's on that card.
That doesn't narrow it down too much. Where is it going?
Well, I think I put his card in one of the pockets of my other uniform shirt. That's why I called you. I wonder if you could check that for me. It's at home.
Sure. Where do you live?
Out on Norwich Road, 411. It's right near the Coliseum.
411.
Yeah.
All right, we'll check it out for you.
Just ask the wife, will you? Card should be in one of the pockets.
Yeah, if you put it there. Ben and I left the interview room at the county jail and drove out to the home of Officer Clark on Norwich Road. We introduced ourselves to his wife and told her what we were after. Her eyes were red and looked like she'd been crying. She asked about her husband. We told her he was all right.
They're making a terrible mistake, Sergeant. Russ never did anything crooked in his life. He didn't do it. I know he didn't.
We'll do everything we can to straighten it out, Mrs. Clark. The court will have the final say.
I knew Russ shouldn't have left his insurance job. I just knew it, all this trouble.
How about that shirt that your husband told us about, the one he wore that night at the auditorium?
Oh, yes, his other uniform shirt.
Mm-hmm. Can we see it, please?
Oh, yes, certainly. It's right this way, back in bed. What's so important about the shirt, Sergeant?
Your husband told us that there might be a card in one of the pockets. Might help clear up things.
Well, it should be hanging up here in the closet. I always like to keep Russ's shirts on hangers. He keeps them much nicer looking.
What's the matter?
This morning I sent it to the cleaners.
Clark's wife, Ben, and I drove down to a dry cleaning shop a few blocks away where Mrs. Clark had left the shirt. The counter girl there told us that the truck had already been by that morning and picked up the day's cleaning. It was a store rule to check all garments for contents. She had found nothing. We got the address of the main plant, the Great Northern Dry Cleaners, a place down on Factory Street. 10:15 a.m. We checked in at the main plant and explained to the manager what we were after. We gave him the tag number of her cleaning, and Mrs. Clark gave him the description of the shirt. We waited in the manager's office while he made a search for the dark blue wool police shirt.
How about this one, lady? It's the only blue wool shirt picked up at your cleaners this morning.
Yes, that's Russ's shirt. That pocket's out there. I mended it.
I'll check the pockets for you. I had to pull it out of the tank. It's all wet.
Yeah?
Not in this pocket. Try the other one.
Yeah?
Look for yourself.
Nothing.
You are listening to Dragnet, the case history of a police investigation, presented in the public interest by Fatima Cigarettes.
If you smoke a long cigarette, it will be in your interest to listen to a typical case history of a Fatima smoker.
It's the case of Northwest Airlines stewardess Jean Madsen. This is her actual signed statement.
There's one thing I really look forward to after a long flight. A good, mild smoke. That's why I prefer the new king-size Fatima. It's milder than any other long cigarette I've tried. Yes, I agree. It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
And so do more and more smokers every day. Actual figures show extra mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
So enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself.
The king-size cigarette, which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild.
You will prefer Fatima's much different, much better flavor.
You will agree.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
The best of all long cigarettes.
Thursday, April 10th. Shortly after noon, the daily newspapers were on the streets, and the head on one of the top front page stories read, "Rookie cop slugs robbed citizen." Ben and I went back to the county jail and told Clark that we'd failed to find the card. He could give us no other lead that might help in clearing the case. During the next 2 days that followed, Ben and I ran down every possible lead, no matter how remote it was. We made a thorough check on Mr. and Mrs. Stacy. We double-checked back on Clark's record. For one full day, we did nothing but phone doctors in and around the city of Los Angeles. From a list of hundreds, we came across 3 doctors who had been present at the fights in Olympic Auditorium on the night Stacy claimed he was beaten up and robbed by Officer Clark. None of the 3 had seen a man tumble down the stairway leading from the balcony to the lobby. None of them had seen any accident or had been called on to help anyone professionally. Monday, April 14th, we met with Lieutenant Ralph Drummond.
No go, huh?
That's got us, Ralph. We can't figure it. It's almost a fact Stacy's lying.
Clark, what about him?
Well, there's still nothing to show that he didn't do it. He had the opportunity. Maybe he had a motive. He needs money, you know.
Who doesn't?
How much you get on Stacy?
He and his wife run a second-hand furniture store in South Flower. It's a small business. Stacy's quite a gambler. He bets on the fights.
Yeah?
We checked around with some of the gang down at the auditorium. Stacy's well-known down there. He laid some pretty heavy bets the night he claims Clark rolled him.
How much?
You got the dope there, Ben. How's it figure out?
He lost over $75 in small amounts. Add to that the fact that he was doing some partying. That might account for the 120 acres missing.
Stacy blew the roll, was afraid to tell his wife, so he cooked up the story against Clark.
Yeah, sure. Maybe that could have been the way it happened.
What do you got on the other side?
Not much, Ralph. Couldn't dig up anything against Clark. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the type to pull something like that.
Maybe not. You still can't prove he didn't do it. How about the papers? You've been plugging for witnesses?
Yeah. Here's the ad. Had it running in personals for 4 days now.
Okay. All those saw a man fall down the stairway in the auditorium. Today, please call Michigan 5211-875. No results, huh?
No. All the possible doctors in town have been checked out, too.
How about the local medical magazines?
Got an ad in there, Ralph. Nothing's happened.
Well, one thing is sure. Something's got to happen. Newspapers are scorching the kid and the department along with him. Victim without a trial makes good reading in the tabloids.
There's one thing I can't understand. If Clark's leveling and there was a doctor at the fights that might have looked at Stacy, then where's the doctor?
We've had this thing noised all around town. Well, give it a little more time, he might turn up. I kind of like the Stacy angle.
How do you mean?
Well, suppose we get him in here. Think we could break him down into questioning?
Oh, no, I doubt that. We can't even get close to him. That wife of his and that lawyer, they're with him all the time. He's afraid to talk to us.
Maybe if we pass the word to his wife he'd been gambling, how far can we go on that?
Well, she might believe us, she might not. You've seen what she's like.
Yeah. I got an idea he sold her on his story, and she's tagging along to get the $128 back.
It gives me an idea, Joe. One thing we might have missed.
Yeah, what's that?
We found out that Stacy did a little partying before we went to the fights at the auditorium that night, didn't we?
Yeah, go ahead.
We checked out a couple of the bars he was drinking at, but we figure he must have parted away at least $50 out of that $128.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't spend that much at the bars.
Oh, well, sure. He probably hit a few other places, too.
That's what I mean. That's still a lot of money to drink up alone.
You figure a woman?
Maybe.
You got any reason to think Stacy plays around?
Just one.
Yeah?
His wife.
Monday, 1 p.m. Ben and I started to canvass of bars and small nightclubs in the general area around the Olympic Auditorium. We started with those where Stacy was a regular customer. We failed to turn up any leads. Either the bartenders refused to tell us or they had no knowledge of Stacy's running around with other women. We kept at it. Another day passed. 2 days. Nothing. One of the newspapers started a campaign against the brutality of police officers. On Thursday, we got a tip from a bartender at a place out on Washington Street, the Brown Cow. He told us that he thought he saw a man answering Stacy's description in his bar a few nights before with a flashy blonde in her late 20s. He said he didn't know Stacy too well, but he knew the girl, and he knew the hotel where she stayed. Her name was Sandra Gay, an acrobatic specialty dancer at the cheap nightclub. We checked out her hotel, but she wasn't in. We left word for her to get in touch with us, and we picked up a hamburger and some potato salad for lunch and checked back in at the office.
How you doing, Coleman?
Not as good as you two.
How do you mean?
Can't you smell her perfume? It's off a blonde named Sandra Gay. She's waiting in the next room. Won't talk to anybody but you.
Thanks. Come on, Ben. Didn't waste much time, did she?
Perfume. Sure strong.
Your name, Sandra Gay?
Yeah, that's right. You the fellas been looking for me?
Drop by your hotel. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Sure, it's all right.
This is my partner, Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday.
How you doing?
Oh, Romero. Kind of cute for a cop. What can I help you with?
Do you know anybody by the name of Gerald Stacy, Miss Gay?
Gerald, yeah, I hate that name.
Do you know any man who calls himself that?
No, I think that's a terrible name for a man, Gerald.
The man we have in mind is pretty short, stocky build, dark hair, and he wears steel-rimmed glasses.
Yeah, where's he hang out?
Place out in Washington, the Brown Cow. Supposed to have been seen with you. Gerald Stacy.
Oh, yeah, I think I know who you mean. Furniture business and runs a place near the Brown Cow.
That's right, you know him?
Oh, Pop, sure I know him. We get together once in a while. He's a kick.
Pretty big spender?
Oh, he's got it, yeah. Last time we went out, he was fine. He can kick it around when he wants to. Oh, Pops.
When's the last time you were out with him, Miss Gay?
Maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. The Tuesday night, I think, yeah.
Tuesday the 8th? Is that about right?
Yeah, must have been. Why, what's it all about?
Did you spend most of the evening with him?
No, I had to get back to the club, do my act. He went on to the fights over at Olympia.
I get it. Personnel, Friday.
Is this Sergeant Friday?
Yes, that's right.
This is Dr. Samuelson talking, Sergeant. I've been out of town. I just got back this morning. I saw the ad in the paper.
Yes, sir?
I was at the fights that night, Sergeant. What did you want to know?
Would you mind telling us, Doctor, did you see a man fall down one of the stairways to the lobby?
Certainly. I was the one who examined him.
5 p.m. Mr. and Mrs. Stacy were called to Lieutenant Drummond's office. Arrangements were made to have Officer Russell Clark brought over from his cell in county jail. At 5:15, Ben and I checked into the lieutenant's office. Stacy and his wife were already there.
Certainly proud of our police department, Chief. No whitewashing this time. You gave that fella exactly what he had coming.
Thanks. You sure you didn't make a mistake?
I'm sure, Chief. That's the right man. You got him.
Jerry, don't make mistakes on things like this, Inspector. How about our money, the $128? He tell you where he hid it?
No, he hasn't. We'll bring Officer Clark in from county jail. Figure we try to crack him.
That's right. Make him tell what he did with our money.
Joe, will you have Officer Clark brought in?
By the way.
All right.
There he is. Where's our money? What have you done with it?
Just a minute, please.
Stacy, you sure Officer Clark here's the man who beat you up and robbed you?
Of course he is. Dragged me behind the auditorium and almost beat me to death. Broke my arm, took all my money.
$128. Where is it?
I haven't got your money.
Joe, bring the doctor in.
I understand. In here, Doc.
All right. Mr. Stacy, you're a liar. This officer didn't break your arm. I saw you fall down a flight of stairs at that auditorium and break your own arm. I examined it.
Jerry, who is this man?
What about it, Stacy?
He doesn't know what he's talking about. I never saw him before in my life.
No, but I've seen you, Stacy. You were drunk. I saw you fall down those stairs.
You're crazy.
Joe, send Miss Gay in.
Right. All right, Miss Gay.
Sure is strong perfume.
You recognize any of these people, Miss Gay?
Hello, Pops.
I don't know you.
Don't you remember the perfume you give it to me?
Who is this woman?
Just a friend, honey.
All right, Stacy, now let's have it straight.
It was all a mistake. I don't want to make trouble for anybody. It wasn't this cop's fault. I don't want to make any trouble.
What about this woman?
It was all a mistake, believe me.
You took that money, Gerald. You spent it on her.
Now, wait a minute.
Causing all this trouble, squandering our money. After all I did for you, you're no good. This time I'm through.
All right, Clark, let's go.
Okay.
Well, that's it.
I don't know how to thank you, fellas.
And doctor's the best friend you got.
Yeah. Yeah, I better call her wife. She'll want to know.
Friday, phone message for you here.
Oh, thank you. From your wife, Clark.
Yeah?
She found that doctor's card.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 2nd, trial was held in Municipal Court, Division 7, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to extra mild Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, extra mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the king-size cigarette that is extra mild.
Extra mild because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give it a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Gerald Stacy was tried on charges of filing a false crime report. He was convicted under Section 5250 LAMC and served his term as prescribed by law. Officer Russell Clark was returned to duty with full back pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, in response to thousands of letters asking us to broadcast Dragnet at an earlier hour so that the entire family might hear it, we wish to announce that summer scheduling enables us to fulfill these requests. Beginning next Thursday, June 8th, Fatima Cigarettes will bring you Dragnet 1/2 hour earlier over most of these stations. Consult your local newspaper for exact time.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles. Hear your favorite Jack Birch tomorrow on NBC.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape, brought to you by your Richfield gasoline dealer and the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York. Marketers of Richfield gasolines with Xylene, Rich Lube, all-weather motor oil, and other famous petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps.
Tonight, we escape to India, and the story of a man trapped in his bed by a crate, the most deadly, poisonous snake in the world, as Roald Dahl tells it in his terrifying story, Poison.
Listen, it's an awful good story, but to get the point, you gotta understand about two things. What kind of a guy Harry Pope was, and what kind of a snake the crate is. First, the crate. You spell it K-R-A-I-T. They're in India, the crates are. Little snakes, sometimes not more than 3 or 4 inches long. You have to look real careful if you're going to see one at all. Really almost like a worm. Except that it's the most poisonous snake in the world. It can bite faster than a bumblebee, and when it does, you go up like a firecracker, swell up like a hot water bottle, and in fly the angels. Crate. Tiny little snake. Now about Harry Pope. Funny guy. He had it in for anybody who wasn't American, who didn't speak his language. He called them foreigners. He called them that army word, gook. Didn't matter if they were French, Italian, or Japanese. Gook. Foreigner, he'd say. It's kind of buggy on the subject. Funny guy. Well, Harry and me, we got sent out to Bombay on this construction job, and that's where the trouble started. You see, except for the two of us, the crew was made up of local boys. Hindus and Muslims. 40 of them. Harry was like a cat in a room full of dogs. Had his back up every minute. After a month or so, it began to wear him out. Got so his appetite wasn't right. He was smoking 3 and 4 packs a day, and he wasn't getting his sleep. I used to try to straighten him out. Used to tell him he was wrong.
No, Woody, there's no use talking to you.
Listen, Harry, they're all good boys. Why don't you take it easy?
Woody, you and I are good friends, but there are a lot of things you just don't understand.
You ought to take it easy, Harry. They're all human beings, just like you and me.
They're gooks, Woody. Foreigners. Look it. Think about it this way. How'd you like your sister to marry one of them?
I haven't got a sister, and anyway, you've asked me that before.
Yeah, you see? You won't even make the effort to understand.
Well, that's how it was with Harry, and you know about the crate. Now about what happened. It was June of last year. It was hot and sticky, even though the sun was down. I was putting on a clean shirt to go out.
Oh, man, I'm really beat tonight. What's with you, Woody? What's the clean shirt for?
Going out.
What do you got, a date?
No, I thought I'd stop off at Dr. Ganderby's. He promised he'd show me the photos he made down in the leper colony.
Ganderby?
Yeah. These photos are supposed to be pretty interesting stuff. Well, how about it, Harry? Would you like to come along?
Ganderby? He's a Hindu. A gook. Foreigner. I don't want to spend no evening with a gook. Shoot, not old Harry.
So I went off to the doctor's, and Harry went to bed with the detective story. I had a very interesting evening. Later, old Harry was plenty sorry that he stayed home. I didn't leave the doctor's until around midnight, and when I drove back to the sleeping city, it was very quiet and dark. I thought about the pictures of the lepers I'd seen. I remember thinking, I hope Harry's awake, because I'd like to tell him about those pictures. And when I got home, I was glad to see the light in his room was still burning.
Harry, you up?
I didn't get an answer. Probably fell asleep reading.
Harry, you awake, Harry? Woody.
Harry, boy, what's the matter, kid?
Stop, Woody. Take off your shoes.
I couldn't tell what was the matter, but I knew he was serious, whatever it was about, so I did what he wanted. He was in bed, under his netting, with a reading light on, his book on the floor. He lay quite still, and the sheet came halfway up his chest. He was wearing those corny pajamas of his with the big checks all over them. And the pajamas were soaked in the sweat that was rolling off his face. He lay like a corpse, flat on his back, with his hands lying dead on the bed. His hands, even the backs of them, were sweating. His eyes looked like he was watching somebody saw his leg off.
Woody,
What's the matter, boy?
It's a crate.
Crate? Where?
The man said.
Where? Where's the crate?
In here.
Under the netting?
No. Under the sheet.
Where'd it bite you?
It hasn't. Yet.
Where under the sheet?
Right on my belly.
Holy son.
You can wake it up if you don't cut out that belly.
How'd it get in there?
I don't know. Came up under the netting, I guess. Or it's been in the bed all day.
Is it a big one?
No. It don't have to be big. Looked about 3 or 4 inches. Come along my side. I didn't move. Went under the sheet. One of them folds. One of them wrinkles there over my belly.
How long ago did it come?
Hours. Hours and hours and days and weeks waiting. I've been waiting a year for you to get home.
You must be sleeping in here, huh?
Yeah. I think it is.
All right, now listen, Harry. Maybe it'll wake up and go away. Go home or something, huh?
I can't wait, Woody. I've been lying here scared I'd move something and wake it up.
Yeah, you're scared and it'll bite.
I've been lying here scared to death I'd cough.
All right, don't you worry about a thing, Harry. I know just what to do.
Where you going, Woody? Don't leave me.
The thing was to be ready to cauterize the bite right away. I'd heard about one method. I went out to the kitchen, and I got a whole fistful of those big kitchen matches, and I took them back to the bedroom. Arranged them all with the heads together. Held them like you'd hold a torch.
What are you going to do? What are the matches for?
Now listen, Harry, here's how it goes. These will cauterize, see? So we count 3, flip back the sheet, and you jump out of bed. Now you follow me?
You're out of your
No,
mind.
listen, Harry. If the crate bites you, I strike the bundle and press it against the spot, and it burns out the poison, see? Well, the matches...
Get away from me. You're a bubble-headed maniac.
No, Harry, I'm only trying to...
Listen, Woody, take your matches and your bright ideas and get the heck out of here. Call the doctor.
The doctor? I never thought of that.
Now get to it.
Okay, Harry. Who do you want? Ganderby or Forsyth?
Forsyth. Things are bad enough without you. Got to bring that gook in here.
I dug through the telephone book and I found Dr. Maxon B. Forsyth's number and I dialed it.
This is the residence of the Dr. Maxon B. Forsyth, please.
Yeah, let me speak to the doctor. It's very urgent.
Who is calling, please?
Arthur Woods.
Who?
Woods. Arthur Woods.
Spell, please.
Woods. W.
W.
O.
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 You have already said O. I have already written O. Have the kindness to give me the next letter, please.
O. It's O after O.
Please?
Look, my name is Woods.
Spell, please.
W. O. O. D.
W-O-O. Aha!
D-S. Woods.
Wood. W-O-O-D-S. Mr. Wood.
That's right. That's just right now. Let me speak to the doctor, please.
Sorry. Doctor not in. Call tomorrow.
Across the room, Harry lay very still, sweating, trying to keep every muscle relaxed. His face was beginning to twitch a little. I was scared. If that twitch should spread... I called the doctor's house again.
Please, I do not understand.
Look, I said if you don't tell me where the doctor is, I'm going to come over there and pull your arms off, and then I'm going to take you by the neck.
The doctor is at the club, please.
What club?
The country club. Ring 673.
Harry lay very still, fighting the twitches, trying to keep from jumping out of his skin, while I waited for the bartender at the club to locate Dr. Forsyth. After about 5 minutes and nothing, I got this.
Are you there?
Listen, Doctor, you got to get over here right away. This is Arthur Woods, and my partner. He's got a snake in the bed with him. Doctor?
Would you mind repeating that, old boy?
I said snake. He's got a snake in the bed with him.
Snake? Oh, Johnny. I say, who is this? Is this Captain Smart speaking?
Please, Doctor, you got to get over here right away. It's urgent.
Smart, you can. You don't fool me enough for an instant, you don't.
Please, Doctor.
Snake in bed.
Listen, is this Dr. Forsyth speaking?
Yeah, of course not. It's Colonel Harcourt.
Oh, well, let me speak to the doctor, please.
Oh, but you can't, old fellow.
Why not?
Why, he's jolly well past that, don't you know?
Passed out.
Like a mackerel. Snake in the...
Yeah. Listen, Harry, you gotta forget all this prejudice stuff. Ganderby's your only chance.
No, he's a gook.
He went to Oxford, Harry.
He's a gook.
It's him or the Undertaker.
He's a gook.
I'm going to call him, Harry.
All right. Go ahead, call him. But he's a gook.
I called him. And when I mentioned crate, he was quiet for a good 10 seconds, and then he said he'd be right over. And he was within 5 minutes. He was wearing felt slippers, and he moved silently into the bedroom. He was carrying his black satchel, and when I saw the lamplight glinting softly in his steel-rimmed spectacles, saw his wise, gentle eyes, his bald brown head, I thought to myself, why, he looks just like Mahatma Gandhi. He looked silently at Harry and smiled encouragingly. Harry looked at him, looked at me, and looked away.
Now, first we must very carefully remove the netting from about the bed. Mr. Pope, I want you to pay no attention to us. You are to concentrate on being very quiet, on letting the little snake sleep. It is a very little snake, and it is very tired. You must tell yourself this, and you must believe it is necessary for it to sleep.
Yeah.
Mr. Wood, help me lift the netting. Very slowly. Up. Good.
What are you going to do for me?
Think about the little snake.
What do you think I'm thinking about? What are you going to do for me?
The snake. It is here.
It's in one of those folds over his abdomen, Doctor.
Now we all know where it is.
Pretend you are the mother of the little snake. You are keeping it warm. It is sleeping. That is good.
Just so as it don't wake up and want breakfast.
You joke? That is good.
I wish I was back home in the good old USA.
Now then, what are you going to do, Doctor? I have a serum here. You will inject it into the blood of Mr. Pope. Then, as he puts it, the little snake may breakfast to his heart's content without harm to Mama.
His hands were brown and slender and astonishingly deft. He poked the hypodermic into a capsule of thick yellowish stuff, the serum, and then with infinite care he drew the plunger slowly and steadily upward. The glistening chamber filled. He withdrew the needle, laid the hypodermic down, and then with all the gentleness in the world, he began to fold back Harry's sleeve. It was as though he were folding rare old lace. He inched the sleeve carefully, under, and up Harry's arm until the vein came into view.
I'm going to fasten a tourniquet on your arm now. It will be just above the elbow. Do not move your arm. Do not twitch your muscle.
Gently he tightened the rubber tourniquet, and Harry's arm began to flush dark. The vein began to swell blue and tight. Harry kept his eyes on the table.
Now I'm going to insert the needle in the vein. You must not react. By that I mean you must not tense your abdominal muscles. Believe me, Mr. Pope, this will not hurt.
Very carefully he placed the syringe almost flat against the arm, slid the needle in sideways through the skin and into the blue vein, slid it slowly but so firmly that it went in smooth as a knife going into a cheese.
Doc, you're good, aren't you, Doc?
You must believe that.
You're not going to let me die, are you, Doc?
I'm your friend. You must believe that.
Are you, Doc? You won't let me die?
No, I will not let you die. Now, be still and think about that.
All the care in the world as he had pushed the needle into the vein, now he pressed the plunger down, pressed the serum through the needle and into Harry Pope's body. I watched Harry. His eyes were on the wise, gentle face of Dr. Ganderby. His eyes wanted desperately to believe what Ganderby had told him. Now the hypodermic was empty, and slowly it was withdrawn. And then slowly the deft, graceful little hands loosened the rubber tourniquet. And then Ganderby looked up, met Harry's eyes and smiled. Harry tried to smile back, but the smile jumped and twitched and died.
You're taking care of me, huh, Doc?
Yes, my son. Now you must be still while the serum is pumped through your body. Be very still and be very assured. I'm your friend. The serum will save you. You will escape harm.
He beckoned to me, and I followed him out of the room and out onto the dark porch. The air was heavy and hot. Ganderby stared out at the blackness, drummed his fingers softly on the railing.
Your friend is in grave danger.
Yeah, but the serum. You gave him the serum.
I gave him the serum.
It isn't any good.
It is the finest known to medical science, and it is worthless.
To most of us, science is something strange and mysterious. We think of magic medicines and supersonic planes. But here's a scientific achievement that's as real as your car and as near as your Richfield dealer. It's xylene, one of the highest anammox gasoline components ever discovered by scientific research. And xylene can benefit you today, because every gallon of Richfield gasoline now contains xylene. Xylene to give your car that smooth, knockless power that eats up the miles. Xylene for that swift, eager response you need in traffic. Furthermore, there's a Richfield gasoline to fit your motor. Your Richfield dealer offers 2 great Richfield gasolines, both with xylene. Get Richfield High Octane at regular price for the average motor. Or Richfield Ethyl. Ethyl at its best for top results in highest compression motors. Get Richfield gasoline tomorrow. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. And now we return you to Escape.
So there it was. Harry Pope, the man who had been an enemy of anyone and everyone who didn't come from his country or speak his language, was now halfway through death's door. And his only hope lay in a Dr. Ganderby of another race, another creed, another country, and another color. Now, for the first time in his life, Harry had made a gesture of friendship toward a person of another race. First time. And it seemed to me the last.
No, my friend. The serum is worthless.
What can we do then? The snake is bound to wake sooner or later. Harry will move. He won't be able to help himself, and the snake will strike.
We must think.
Look, I'll shoot it. I can hold the gun low and flat so that even if I hit Harry, it won't be a penetrating wound, and I'll blow the snake sheet and all, clear the bed, huh?
But you don't even know which of the many folds and creases in that sheet is the harbor of the snake.
Yeah.
You might shoot the air.
Yeah.
You would most certainly wake the snake then.
No, we can't do that.
I think I have a solution, Mr. Wood.
Yeah?
We will anesthetize the snake. Yes. We will use nitrous oxide, or ether, or chloroform. I think the last. Chloroform, yes.
We put the snake out right while he's lying on Harry? Is that the idea?
That is it, Mr. Woods. Now, if you will please drive quickly down to my house, my boy will show you where I keep my supplies. The chloroform is in a bottle with an orange label.
Orange label?
Yes. Bring it back as quickly as you can. I will stay with Mr. Pope and try to keep him assured.
He seems to like you.
We all like the doctor when we are sick.
I drove it as fast as I could. The houseboy at the doctor's thought I was a madman at first, but then he decided in my favor, showed me where the stuff was. I found the bottle with the orange label, smelled it to make sure, and then took off back to the house. I eased the car up the driveway and tiptoed into the bedroom.
You're my friend, Doctor? My pal?
Yes, I am your friend, and I am not going to let any harm come to you.
Well, here's Willie. He's my friend, too, Doc.
Here's the stuff, Doctor.
Willie, I've been an awful dope all my life. You know that, Willie?
It's okay, Harry. You're going to be okay from now on.
The Doc here, my friend here, I didn't like him when he first came into the room. Why? Because he wasn't an American or even an Englishman. What do you know about that, huh? He's my friend.
It's okay, Harry. You're going to be okay now, boy.
I've been a player's dope.
Mr. Woods, you have to help me.
Right. He pulled a prescription pad out of his case, tore the cardboard backing off, and twisted it into a neat little funnel. He laid this on the edge of the bed. And then he took the piece of hollow rubber tubing which had been used as a tourniquet, and he began to slide it into the sheet. It went in where the sheet ended, across Harry's chest, and he slid it down. He slid it slowly, so slowly that although I was watching it, I didn't see it move. Hours seemed to crawl by. The tube inched invisibly on and down, down and down, past the unseen buttons of his jacket, past the unseen cord of his trousers. Then it stopped. Ganderby had set it by a route which did not cross any of the creases in the sheet. He was being very careful not to prod the snake with it. He He was sweating too now, sweating and biting his lip with his teeth. Funny, I remember now, one was gold. I remember staring at it while he etched that tube.
Now the funnel. I fit it into the end of the tube and we are ready. Mr. Pope, this is going to be very cold. The evaporation of the chloroform will cause a sharp lowering of the temperature. You must be prepared for this. It will take rather a long time, another factor for which you must prepare yourself. The snake is a reptile, and reptiles do not react quickly to the anesthetics which are intended for the use of warm-blooded animals. Bear these things in mind. Are you ready?
Sure. Friend.
He opened the bottle and began to drip the stuff into the funnel. Slowly, very slowly, drop by drop, the clear liquid entered the tube and traveled a long, dark route to Harry Pope's stomach, where the crate lay sleeping. Drop by drop, a pale, swirling vapor hung over the funnel. Down there on the sheet, where the tube ended, a wet gray patch began to spread. The chloroform spreading and evaporating, spreading and evaporating. The room began to reek of it. And I remembered other places and other times. Hospitals, operations, the death of loved ones, smell of chloroform. Harry began to twitch now, his nose. He seemed to be in agony.
Woody.
Harry, what is it?
I think I'm gonna sneeze.
Don't do it, boy. Hang on, Harry. You gotta hang on. Don't. Ganderby looked at Harry's face. He reached up, pressed his knuckle against some nerve on Harry's upper lip, and the agonized look vanished. The relentless dripping of the chloroform continued. Harry was getting cold. I could see goose flesh along his arms, across the top of his chest where the jacket was open. Ganderby looked at this and stopped pouring.
This is enough. I think our little friend should be thoroughly unconscious now. Mr. Pope, you must remain very still. We are going to remove the sheet now.
Anything you say, Doctor.
Mr. Woods, you take the other side. You will have to do this ever so carefully.
We each took a side of the hem. I watched Ganderby do everything that he did. Harry's arms were still flat on the bed, pointing toward his feet. We inched the sheet under and free of these. It was rough, because we had to do it without disturbing the main area of the sheet. When it was free of his arms, we began to raise it slowly, gathering the material in our hands as we progressed ever so slowly down Harry's chest. We reached the end of his jacket. No sign of the snake. My hands were beginning to shake. Ganderby paused while I turned my head away for air. The odor of chloroform was stifling. And then we went on, slowly, thread by thread, raising the sheet and easing it away, down past the cord of his pajamas, and down, and still no sign of the snake. I'd stopped looking for it by now. I was concentrating on keeping my arms from shaking. And then, quite suddenly, we were done. Ganderby dropped the sheet on the floor. Harry lay on his back, not moving, but watching us with wide, terrorized eyes. Ganderby squinted at both sides of Harry, at his legs.
What is it?
It is not as you supposed on the outside of your pajama pants. It must be up one of the legs.
Harry, no!
I don't see it.
Get those tatters of cloth, the remains of his pants.
No, nothing.
The bed. Under the bed?
Yeah.
Move your feet, Harry.
Harry, move your feet. No, there's nothing.
Mr. Pope, are you quite certain you saw a snake? Sometimes when we are very tired, we find our autosuggestive faculties run a bit out of hand.
Are you calling me a liar?
Well, no. I merely say that the autosuggestive...
Are you telling me I'm a liar?
Harry.
Why, you lousy little quack. Call me a liar. You stinking little Hindu witch doctor with your fancy pants, Tom.
Harry!
Come in here sticking me full of your cheap, no good medicine.
Harry, go!
Pour that freezing cold up all over
Harry,
me.
take it easy. Harry's your friend.
My friend? That little hunk of foreign trash, my friend. Why, where I come from, where you guys live, khaki like him for busboys.
You make a mistake. You are wrong.
Yeah, for busboys, for waiters, for nothing. You're a foreigner. You're a gook. You're a nothing. Oh, I ought to beat you to a bloody pulp. You and your chloroform. You and your stuff about friendship and Mama Snake. And I must make out like I like you. I ought to split your head wide open, you gook! You gook! You gook! You gook!
Forgive him. He's been under a great strain. He doesn't mean it.
A great strain, yes. He needs a good holiday. Good night, Mr. Woods.
That's all. I couldn't tell this if old Harry was still alive. Poor old Harry. He didn't die in India. He died in Chicago, in the Loop. Got run over by a taxi cab. The driver was third-generation Irish, a real 100% white American. Maybe that means something, I don't know. Poor old Harry.
Believe it or not, but the very life of your car depends on oil. Without oil, your motor would grind itself to pieces in a matter of minutes. That's why you need an oil that stands up under every driving condition. That's why you need Rich Lube all-weather motor oil. Rich Lube is refined 100% from the finest Pennsylvania crude oil ever discovered. That's your guarantee that Rich Lube won't burn up even under the terrific heat of hard summer driving. Its tough, long-lasting oil film is your faithful watchdog. It protects your motor every mile you drive. You can depend on it. Moreover, Rich Lube motor oil combats carbon and other harmful deposits by its special cleansing action. It cleans as it lubricates your motor. Keep your motor young, keep your motor clean. See your Richfield gasoline dealer tomorrow. Ask him to change your oil to Rich Lube all-weather motor oil. Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight is presented Poison by Roald Dahl and adapted for radio by James Poe. Featured in tonight's cast were Jack Webb as Woody, Bill Conrad as Harry, Jane Novello as Ganderby, and Charlie Long as the houseboy. Special music arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You are lost in the headhunter territory of New Guinea, fighting your way through the swamps in search of gold. With you is a giant brute of a man and his beautiful wife, who doesn't care which of you is killed or who kills him, and from whose evil treachery there is no escape.
Next week at this time, the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to escape with an exciting story of evil and violence in the deadly swamps of New Guinea, as Jules Archer tells it in Two Came Back. Goodbye then until the same time next week when once again we offer you Escape. Tom Hanlon speaking over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A woman has been shot to death. The apparent motive, robbery. The killer's still at large. Your job, find him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke extra mild Fatima. Yes, Fatima is the king-size cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give Fatima a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all, long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, March 16th. It was damp in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 11:45 p.m. when we got to where we'd parked our car. 2nd and Main.
Couple of drops on the windshield.
Yeah, I hope it holds off.
I was thinking of going out to see the Cubs and Pirates play an exhibition game tomorrow. Guess maybe now I won't.
You might be lucky.
What's the weatherman say?
Oh, get the radio on. It's a slow night.
Yeah.
Might not be tomorrow night.
What?
March 17th, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
62A, Collier Station. All units in vicinity of 102 South Virgil, 211 and shooting, code 3. All units in vicinity of 102 South Virgil, 211 and shooting, code 3. Unit 13, take the call.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. 11:58 p.m. We arrived at 102 South Virgil, the Bartlett Hotel, a 4-story building. Sergeant Scheimer met us in the lobby and informed us that the shooting took place at 11:40 p.m. in room 432, occupied by Mr. and Mrs. Theodore V. Benham. Mrs. Benham was the victim. We went up to the 4th floor where Officer McCready was stationed outside the room.
Any witnesses?
Only Benham says it was a thief.
Did you talk to any of the people on this floor?
None of them saw anything. They're all in their rooms.
Any other way out of here?
That stairway in the rear leads to the roof. I took a look. Nothing up there.
Mm-hmm. Where's Benham?
Across the hall, lying down. Cox is with him.
Okay, let's look at the body. We went into the room, a dreary place with a single light hanging from the center of the ceiling. The carpet was faded and worn in spots. On the north side were a closet and a bathroom. Against the east wall was a dresser. Across the room was a double bed, and at the foot of the bed a window looking out over the roofs of adjoining buildings and the marquee of a movie house down the street. A steamer trunk was in the corner, and a straight-back chair was next to the door. The mirror of the dresser was smashed, and on the dresser a Gideon Bible. On the bed was the body of a woman sprawled face down. There were several splotches of blood on her coat. In the chair was a .32-20 revolver, which McCready said belonged to Benham, the husband of the murdered woman. We asked McCready to put in a call to the crime lab, and we went across the hall to question Benham.
This is an awful shock. I'm not feeling well. I'm under doctor's care. Hemophilia. It's an awful shock.
Sit down, please.
Yes. I don't know what it'll do to me. I should be in the sanitarium right now.
We'll see you taken care of.
Lincoln Sanitarium in Eagle Rock.
Could you tell us what happened tonight?
Yes. My wife and I went out to the Sycamore Cafe over in Alvarado.
What time was that?
Oh, about 9:30. Had a couple of drinks and something to eat. Listened to a piano player, then came home. I unlocked the door, and Elizabeth went in first, went over to the dresser. I just walked over to her when a man stepped out of the closet in back of us. He had a gun.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe him?
I don't know.
Did you see his face?
No. He had a blue bandana over his face, and he had a cap on, a blue and white check.
Did you notice his clothes?
No, I didn't.
Anything else?
He seemed very nervous, and he wasn't holding the gun still. My wife was opening her purse, and I said, well, I haven't got very much, but I'll give you what we have. And he fired and hit Elizabeth. I pulled my gun from my overcoat and started shooting.
Are you in the habit of carrying a gun?
No, I'd noticed suspicious-looking men following me lately, so I bought one.
Is this the gun here?
Yes.
Then what happened?
Well, I fired all the bullets. I don't know how I missed. The room was small. He kept moving around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I did miss. Then he ran out of the room.
But how old would you say this man was?
Oh, sir, I haven't the faintest idea.
Can I see you a minute, Sergeant?
Sure.
We'll be back, Mr. Benham.
This has been an awful shock to me.
Wonder how his wife felt.
McCready told us that Sergeant Scheimer had found a woman in the Nevada Hotel next door who might know something. We went next door and questioned Mrs. Caroline Cromwell, a resident of the hotel. She occupied room 415 on the top floor. She told us that about 20 seconds after she heard the shots, she looked out the door of her room and saw a man come down the back stairs, which leads to the roof of the hotel, and enter room 402. She'd seen the man several times and was positive of her identification. Sergeant Scheimer said the man was registered as Jack Morrison. We went to room 402. Try it again.
Who's that?
Police officer.
like to ask a couple of questions.
I was going to bed.
We'd like to talk to you. Won't take very long.
All right. What do you want to know?
How long you been in your room?
About 10 minutes. What?
Where were you?
To the movie.
Which one?
Right down the street. Why are you asking me all these questions?
You been drinking?
A little. Not much.
Mind if we look around a little?
I was out all the time. I didn't know nothing about a shooting.
Then you won't mind if we look around.
You won't find nothing here.
These all the clothes you got?
Yeah?
This your coat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You wearing this tonight, were you?
No.
It's the only coat in the closet. What'd you do with the coat you were wearing?
Guess I was wearing that one.
Just spill it?
What?
A bottle of whiskey?
It broke.
How?
How do I know?
Got a hole here in the sleeve. What'd you do with the broken bottle?
Threw it away.
Where?
I don't know. On the street.
Joe, I found something. A shirt. Stuck down between the wall and the bathtub. Looks like blood on it.
Is this yours? Where's the shirt you wore tonight? Take off your pajama top.
Why?
Take it off.
All right. But I didn't have nothing to do with that shooting next door.
What happened to your arm?
Guy shot at me.
Who?
I don't know. I bought a bottle and had a couple of drinks and went to the movie for a little while.
Would you mind moving away from the bed, please?
No.
Thank you.
I came out of the movie because I was getting dizzy. I went up on the roof here to get some air. While I was standing there, a guy ran across the roof and shot at me.
What'd the man look like?
I don't know. He came from the roof of the hotel next door and ran into this place.
How big was he?
It was dark. I couldn't see.
What'd you do?
Well, after I was sure he was gone, I came down. I was going to have my arm fixed in the morning.
Better get your clothes on.
Why?
Well, you got a pretty bad arm. You better have it fixed up. We'll take you to George Street Receiving Hospital.
It's all right. I don't have to go there.
Find anything, Ben?
No.
You got a clean shirt?
No.
Well, you better wear your pajama top then.
Oh, here's something. What did you say your name is?
Jack Morris.
Here's a card I found in the closet. It says, Tommy Kane, report for work, Joe's Cafe, 8 o'clock, March 1st.
Who's Tommy Kane?
That's me.
Where are you from?
Elgin, Illinois.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Why'd you leave Elgin?
For work. I've been bumming around.
You ever been arrested?
I was picked up on a vague charge a month ago.
Here?
Yeah. I don't know why you guys are bothering with me.
When somebody gets shot, we bother. 1:30 a.m. We took King to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, where they found that a muscle in his upper right arm had been severed and the right side of his chest was bruised. Before taking him to Ward 1300 General Hospital for further treatment, we took him back to the roof of the Nevada Hotel.
Still trying to rain.
Yeah. Well, where were you standing when you got shot at, King?
Right over there. I was leaning against the bricks.
Where'd the man come from?
Out of that door and the other roof.
Roof of the Bartlett Hotel?
Yeah.
Was he running when he shot at you?
Yeah, he was.
Where'd he run?
Right across here where we are. And then he went through this door here into the Nevada Hotel.
Did you notice anything unusual about him?
Well, his face was covered with a handkerchief and he wore a checkered cap.
Thought you said before it was too dark.
Well, I could see that. I mean, I could see that. I couldn't see his face.
And you were standing over there by the parapet?
Yeah.
About here?
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get over the roof of the Bartlett. A little high. Can I help you over?
No.
Come on, Ben. You ever been in this hotel before, King?
No.
Everything all right, McCready?
Yeah. Crime lab's here, checking the murder room.
Benham awake?
I think so.
Mr. Benham?
Yes?
Mind if we come in?
Of course not.
You ever seen this man before?
Let me see. Can you stand over there in the light? My eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
Okay. Move over there. How's that?
That's better.
This the man who shot your wife?
No, that's not the man.
We left instructions for another car to take Theodore Benham to the Lincoln Sanitarium in Eagle Rock. We took Kane to Ward 1300 General Hospital. 2:42 a.m. We arrived back at the Bartlett Hotel where police chemist Ray Pinker had finished his examination. 3 slugs, 38 caliber, and 5 slugs, 32-20, were found in the mattress and the walls, all on the same side of the room. On the floor of the room were found a piece of white cloth and some brown threads. Ray Pinker returned to the crime lab while Ben and I made a search of both hotels, the incinerators, the alley, and all likely places for the missing 38. It was not found. 3:48 a.m. Ben went to the record bureau to check on any possible criminal record Kane might have had. I went to the crime lab to see what Ray Pinker had found.
Nothing on this one. It's been a clean miss. And nothing on these 4 32-20s.
Where'd you find those?
Dug the 38 out of the window frame. 32-20s are in the south and east walls.
How about the others here?
Well, on these 2 38 slugs, I found minute portions of threads. They compare with the dress and coat one of the deceased.
Right.
Hey, Ben.
I checked Kane's record. He told the truth.
Nothing more than a vague charge, huh?
No. How's this come?
There's threads on 2 of the 38 slugs.
And on one of the 32-20s.
Same kind of threads?
Yeah, the same kind.
32-20, that's the gun Benham used.
Yeah.
Did you check the cloth yet?
I will right now.
Benham must have been shooting an awful while.
Where'd you find that 32-20 slug, Ray?
On the floor near the bed.
Nothing on any of the other 32-20s.
No. Yeah, this piece of cloth matches the shirt.
How about the coat and those threads?
Got only a couple of threads that might match. Let me have the coat.
Here you are. You better have Benham take another look at Kane, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I could use a cup of coffee. How about you?
As soon as we get finished. How about it, Ray?
Gotta make it. All right. Yeah, a match.
Well, that's it, huh?
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah?
Fresh stains on the carpet of that room.
What kind?
Whiskey.
March 18th, we picked up Benham at Lincoln Sanitarium and drove him to the General Hospital. 3 times he asked us to stop someplace so he could have a drink. We told him he'd have to wait. We arrived at Ward 1300 at 1:40 p.m., and Kane was brought out.
Take a good look, Mr. Benham.
No, that isn't the man. I'm sure of it.
All right, Kane, tie this handkerchief over your face. No, this way. That's right. Now put on this cap. Okay, now stand over there, please. Now, a little further. That's good. All right, Mr. Benham?
You know, his eyes and forehead look a little familiar, but I don't know. Well, my nerves are all shot. I can't be positive. I'm a sick man.
All right, Kane.
Wish I could help you, boys.
So do we.
Come along, please.
You don't have to take me back to the sanitarium. Just take me to a streetcar. I'll make it all right.
Good, Dick.
Sergeant,
Yeah,
can I see you a minute?
sure. Yeah?
Did you notice anything when you first brought Kane out of the ward?
No.
You must have been closing the door.
Yeah, I was.
And that man, Benham, he winked at him.
You are listening to Dragnet, the case history of a police investigation presented in the public interest by Fatima Cigarettes.
If you smoke a long cigarette, it will be in your interest to listen to a typical case history of a Fatima smoker.
It's the case of Dick Hyland, sports columnist for one of the great Los Angeles newspapers. This is his actual signed statement.
Do I smoke a lot when I'm reporting a close ball game? You bet I do. Do I still enjoy smoking when the game's over? Right again. Because I smoke a mild cigarette, Fatima. No other king-size cigarette tastes so good, is as mild as Fatima. I agree it's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
And so do more and more smokers every day. Actual figures show Extra Mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
So enjoy Extra Mild Fatima yourself.
The king-size cigarette, which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild.
You will prefer Fatima's much different, much better flavor.
You will agree.
It's wise to smoke Extra Mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke Extra Mild Fatima.
The best of all long cigarettes.
We took Benham back to his sanitarium. On the way, he asked if he could be excused from testifying at the inquest and preliminary hearing. We told him it couldn't be done. 7 p.m. Ben and I returned to the general hospital and took Kane into a small room adjoining the prison ward. After 3 hours of interrogation, he stuck to his story.
Cigarette, Kane?
Thanks.
How's the arm?
All right. Hurts a little now. When you guys going home?
When we get a straight story.
I've been telling you all I know.
Yeah, you've been telling us the same story for 2 days, but it doesn't hold water.
What do you mean?
How do you account for the fact that parts of your clothing were found in that room?
I told you before, you must have made a mistake.
No, it's no mistake.
Mr. Benham's starting to think he recognizes you.
What?
Why'd he wink at you?
He didn't wink at me.
We got somebody here who saw him.
And he seems to think whoever did the shooting didn't take the gun with him.
When we drove him back to the sanitarium, he asked us if we found it yet.
He thinks we will.
How long has Benham lived in L.A.?
A long time.
How long?
Why do you want to know how long he's lived here?
Is the dead woman really his wife?
Well, certainly she's his wife.
Why?
Where's he been since the shooting?
In the sanitarium in Eagle Rock.
What's the matter with him?
Hemophilia.
You know what that is?
No. You sure that was his wife?
Positive.
She wasn't a stool pigeon?
Stool pigeon? Where'd you get that idea?
You guys never saw her before?
Never.
You never heard of her?
Kane, what's eating you?
Did you check on her?
We always do.
You don't make mistakes on anything like that, do you?
No.
Look, she was a pretty nice woman from all we could find out.
Happily married for 30 years.
Something's wrong.
What, Kane? What's wrong?
Oh, shut up.
Yeah?
Yeah. What'd Benham say about me?
We told you. He says you look a little bit like the man.
Did you say anything else?
He winked at you, Kane. Why?
She wasn't a bad-looking woman.
Wasn't she, Kane? All right, now how about it?
You guys swear that was his wife?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you where the 38 is.
Where?
The mattress on the roof of the Nevada Hotel. Benham cut a hole in it that day. He told me to hide the gun there after the shooting.
All right, let's have a look.
I don't want anybody to know I'm telling you this.
Why?
Benham's a real smart guy. He's got a gang. He's in on it as much as I am.
Yeah?
He double-crossed me. He tried to kill me. I'm going to jail. He's going with me.
Maybe he will. Kane told us that he had known Benham for about 2 months. During that time, Benham helped him along by giving him a couple of dollars every once in a while. On March 11th, Benham got Kane a room in the Nevada Hotel and gave him $20 to buy a gun, which Kane did. On March 15th, he gave Kane a blue bandana and a checkered cap. On March 16th, he told Kane that he'd been sent by a gang in Chicago to kill a woman who was a stool pigeon. He promised Kane $100 for his help. Early that evening, Benham told Kane how to enter their room and where to hide. When they came home, Benham stood by the door. Kane stepped out of the closet and, after a few words, shot the woman. As he moved toward the bed, Benham started shooting at him. Kane ran from the room and hid the gun in the mattress on the roof, then went to his room and flushed the cap and bandana down the drain. 11:15 p.m., Ben and I found the gun where Kane said it would be. 38 Special Detective Colt revolver, 2-inch barrel, number 381327. 11:52 p.m., we checked and found no evidence that Benham belonged to any kind of a gang. March 19th, 9 a.m. Ben and I reported into homicide and picked up Captain Steed. We went over to Dr. Wagner to learn his autopsy report. It showed that the deceased had been shot 3 times. 2 .38 slugs and 1 .32-20 were recovered from the victim's body. They were initialed for evidence. 8 p.m., Captain Steed, Ben, and I went to the sanitarium and told Benham that there were a few angles we wanted to clear up before the inquest next morning. Benham got dressed, and we drove back to the Bartlett Hotel. It was raining.
I'm still trying to remember what happened. I was very shocked that night.
Yeah, I suppose you were.
Well, sometimes my memory comes back for a little bit.
The red light?
Yeah, I see.
You know, the man who did the shooting knew you lived in room 432, and he knew you'd be gone that night. How do you suppose he figured that out?
Well, I've been noticing that a lot of men have been following me. Suspicious-looking men. I told that to Sergeant Friday, didn't I, Sergeant?
Yeah, that's right.
Must have been one of them.
You ever give money to characters on the street so much they might follow you?
Yeah, that must be it. Many times I used to do that. I'd be nice to them, and they'd try to make friends.
You remember any of them?
Yeah, I do. There was old man Dorsey, and Jolly Swanson, and a fellow named Lane.
Kane?
Yeah, that's it, Kane. There you are. The young man you took me to see in the hospital. I'm thinking, I believe that's Kane.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. He's the burglar.
What makes you think he was a burglar?
Well, what else would he be?
He didn't rifle any of the drawers or steal anything, did he?
Must have got there just before us.
Did you have anything important there?
Yes, some insurance policies.
And your wife?
Yeah.
How much?
Well, one policy for $4,000 and two for $2,500 each.
Who's the beneficiary?
I am.
We took Benham up to room 432, where he got out the insurance policies on his wife and showed them to us. Then Captain Steed asked him to reenact the shooting. Benham acted as the killer, I played Benham, and Ben acted as his wife.
Well, the man was over here in the closet. My wife and I came in that door, and then my wife went over to the dresser.
Oh, over here? Did you turn on the light?
Oh, yeah, and then I closed the door and went over behind her.
Like this?
Oh, she was closer to the bed.
Here?
Yeah.
Were you standing next to her?
Yeah.
You start to take off your coat?
Well, I was just going to when this man stepped out of this closet here.
How far?
Oh, here. Yeah, right here.
And then what?
Well, he held the gun in his hand and asked how much money we had. Elizabeth said we didn't have much.
From here?
Yeah, but she turned around.
Like this?
Yeah, that's it.
What happened then?
Well, then I said I haven't got very much, but I'll give you what we have, and started shooting.
Yeah, but you said before that your wife started looking in her purse.
Yeah, that's it. She did. I forgot. And that made him think she was going after a gun.
How do you know?
Well, I suppose that's what he thought. He shot, and Elizabeth fell on the bed. I pulled out my gun and started shooting, and the man ran out the door, and that's all.
That's exactly what happened, huh?
Just as I remember it. Will I help you?
Not very much.
What's the matter?
Well, if you were standing where I am, there'd be bullet holes on that side of the room there, wouldn't it?
They're all on this side.
I see. I got it. Come with me.
Where are you going?
On the roof.
What for?
I want to show you something. It's raining. There are two umbrellas in the closet. I'll get them.
Why do you want to go up there?
I think I know where that gun might be hidden. I'll bet it's there. Here, you take this umbrella.
Thanks.
We'll take this one, Captain.
Let's go.
I bet it's up there. We'll find it.
You got your flashlight, Ben?
Yeah.
Should be around here somewhere.
What?
The mattress. My wife used to take sun baths on it.
Where would it be?
Well, just about here.
I don't see any. Sure it's up here?
I bet it's on the next roof. Didn't you say Kane lived in that hotel? He probably moved it. Flash your light over there behind that elevator shaft.
There?
Yeah, there. You see it? We have to climb over this parapet to get on the other roof.
Watch it, Cap. It's pretty slippery.
Okay. Yeah, it is slippery.
This mattress here?
That's it.
Take a look, Joe.
Right. No, nothing here.
Did you look all around there? Did you look in the corners?
No.
Well, that'd be a good place to hide a gun, don't you think? Here, let me see. There might be a hole cut in one of them. Oh, maybe the other corner. No. Well, maybe this one. Yeah, you see, the mattress has been cut. No, it's got to be here. Where is it? It's here, I tell you. It's here. I know it's here. I'll find it. You wait.
You'll see. I'll get it. I know it's here. I'll find it. You wait, I'll get it. I'll get it.
It's getting wet, Joe.
We got the 38. Kane told us about it. You ready to talk?
Yeah.
Insurance. That why you did it?
Yeah. I'm a sick man.
Let's go, Benham. On your feet.
All right.
They played that ball game the other day.
Yeah? Who won?
Pirates, 8-7. Sure do like baseball.
Must be a real nice business.
Yeah.
Fans only yell if they never do it.
What's that?
Kill the umpire.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 2nd, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 89, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to extra mild Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, Extra Mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the king-size cigarette that is extra mild.
Extra mild because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give it a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Thomas Kane was convicted of second-degree murder and received a term as prescribed by law. Theodore V. Benham was convicted of first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon. He received a life sentence and died in prison 1 year later. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Sunday at 8:30, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's transcribed story, No Sad Clowns for Me.
There was a tall clown and a short clown juggling this one, plus a sleek but overaged destroyer named Ruth that wore tights and trained tigers. All parts of a big circus playing a small town of 649 people. And somewhere along the midway, a joker wanted to cut me down to size. 6-foot box size. I wasn't thinking about the circus when I went to the Detective Bureau Wednesday morning, but my boss was. The Lion was up to his knuckles in...
Green, my boy. I've just about decided to have our whole office done over in green.
Why the sea of $1 bills?
A client, my boy, with payment in advance.
Those bills look like they've been papered in a rat's nest.
They're all in pieces, my boy, but they're good.
You'd know.
Yeah, of course. Notice when I hold this one against this 300-watt light, the paper's made with silk threads. Fitting the torn bills together, they come to $67, Jeffrey.
And the client is...
See this canvas bag?
Bottle top?
It's full of nickels, dimes, and quarters, Jeffrey. With the $1 bills, it makes a very nice retainer of $75.
For which we do what?
Nothing.
Oh, wait a minute, Fatso. You mean a client walked in here, laid down $75 to hire us to do nothing?
Exactly.
Duck, there's a curve on this pitch.
No, my boy. The whole thing's perfectly legitimate. Our client walked in about an hour ago.
Description?
Well, he was a tall man, eccentric.
Go on.
45 or 50 years old, long, pale, stringy, yellowish hair, like an actor, and oddly dressed.
This keeps getting better.
Well, he had on a single-breasted pinstripe suit and tennis sneakers, a rope for a belt.
Does he fly?
What? No. Anyway, Jeffrey, he put the money down. He saw I was worried about the small denominations, and then he said, "It's not brass." Just like that.
It's not brass.
Circus expression, my boy. Then he leaned right over this desk and said slowly, showing his big teeth, Jeffrey, "When a little old man named Crackley comes in, don't take his case."
And you went for that?
Of course. We do nothing, no trouble at all.
Lion, it could be we're in trouble. Give me our client's name and address and the retainer. I'll take it back.
Well, unfortunately...
Don't tell me. You didn't get the name and address.
Well, you see, my boy, he was in a great hurry.
You gave him a receipt for the 75?
Oh, of course. Everything very businesslike.
That ties us into the case, but good. Now, no matter what happens, we're mixed up in it.
You're borrowing trouble.
We bought it.
Oh, relax, my boy.
We got to get that receipt.
Forget it. Just be grateful.
Okay, Lion. But if Crackley shows up, be careful. I turned and started for the door. I knew client was a crank. You'd have to be more than careful. But I couldn't dump the trouble into the lion's lap. I slammed the door on my way out. The noise made a little old guy jump. He was standing in the hall, just outside our door. It wasn't hard to figure who he was. Crackley?
You know my name?
Well, I do now. You're on your way into the Lion Detective Bureau.
Yes.
I'm Regan.
The Lion's Eye?
That's what they call me.
You're the man I came here to see. You were highly recommended.
I'd like to talk to you, Crackley. I know a place they'll let us sit down for 50 cents.
I could use a drink.
I thought maybe. We went to Dugan's bar. Crackley was a little guy, but smart, almost sharp. He had an outdoor face, tanned, with deep wrinkles like closed eyes in his forehead. Like he had a lot on his mind, and he wanted to talk.
I'm the owner of a circus, Mr. Regan.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, you don't understand. I don't know if you can imagine the responsibilities of a circus owner. To his employees, I mean. They're all specialists. And if we were to close up and go out of business, well, there'd be no place for them to go.
Except another circus.
Oh, circus business has fallen off since the war years, Mr. Regan.
I hadn't heard.
Business is terrible.
Yeah, sure.
Another drink, gentlemen?
No, thanks.
No, I don't.
Now, why did you come to the Lion Detective Bureau?
I want you to find a man named Bliss.
Why?
Well, Bliss has been investing in my circus.
Putting money into a losing proposition?
Oh, it's not unusual. People that love the circus, especially wealthy people, enjoy putting their money into things that give them pleasure.
Bliss is missing?
Oh, for the last 3 weeks.
And the money has stopped coming into the circus?
Well, yes, Mr. Regan.
When did you last see Bliss?
The fact is, I've never seen Bliss.
But he puts money into your circus?
Through his lawyer. Right now we're playing Bliss's hometown. I'd hope to meet him in person.
Yeah. What would you say, Mr. Crackley, if I told you a strange man came into our bureau this morning and paid us not to take your case?
Why, someone's following me?
Well, I don't know, but... Yeah, Mr. Crackley, someone's following you.
Mr. Regan, what are you looking at?
You mean, what is it looking at us?
Where?
Stay put. I'll be right back. I ran to the window. The face that had been peering in at us whipped out of sight. A couple of winos in Dugan's door cost me 2 or 3 seconds getting out, and that was enough. When I got to the street, it was empty. The man with the long, stringy, yellowish hair who'd been watching us was gone. I went back into the bar. That's when I got a second surprise. Crackley was gone, too. A quick call to Billboard gave me what I needed. The Crackley Great Combined Circus was playing a town of 650 people. A place called Crossroads in the foothills, about a 2-hour drive from L.A. The crank with the yellow hair and the rope belt was somehow tied up with that Crackley circus. Yellow hair had the Lion's signed receipt. I had to get it back. So I got into my car and headed for Crossroads. And when I got there, funny thing, the town was deserted. But the circus midway was jammed. It looked like Crossroads' whole 649 population was at that circus.
Hot dogs, hot puppies, they're delicious, they're nutritious. Step up and get one.
How much?
Eh?
A hot dog, how much?
Oh, yeah, hot dog. Hey, you mean you're going to buy one?
Why not?
Nobody buys nothing in this cheap burg.
Business looks pretty good to me. Everybody in town here at the circus.
Don't cost them nothing.
Oh, no?
Old Crackley's putting on a show for nothing. Making it look good for Bliss, his silent partner.
The show's papered then. Annie Oakley's for free, huh?
Say, you Bliss?
And if I am?
I ain't said nothing.
Yeah. How much for the hot dog?
2 bits.
I paid for the hot dog, walked along the midway asking questions wherever I could get an answer. It's like the dog peddler had said. Crackley had papered the house, bought tickets for everyone in town to guarantee business. We weren't supposed to take the case, but the situation was interesting, and I got to wondering about Bliss, how he fitted in. But then I remembered I was here to get our receipt back, so I bypassed the midway, walked around to the performers' tents. No gaudy signs here, no freak shows, palmists or ballet. And I found a woman. Or rather, she found me.
Regan?
Nice to be known.
This is my tent, Mr. Regan. Please come in.
She was tall, slim. You could spend time watching her. Young, but not too young. Her hair was long and black, almost to the roots. Her face was firm, beautiful, but her eyes had already been there and back. Then we were in her tent, nobody around except the tigers just outside. And she got nearer, and I could see more.
Regan.
Nice tent.
I got a message.
Uh-huh.
Go home.
That's your message?
Go back to L.A., Crackley says.
You a friend of Crackley's?
He saw you on the midway. He said, that's Regan. That's the lion's eye from L.A. that ought to go home.
You sure it wasn't Bliss?
You know Bliss?
Oh, yeah, a very close personal friend of mine.
You're clever, Regan.
It's my business.
Make sure your business doesn't get you into trouble.
Hey, that tiger's close.
Yeah, I work the big cats. They hate me and I hate them. I like them kept near me. Gives me a chance to whip them through the bars whenever I'm feeling blue.
Lady.
Yeah?
What's your name?
I got a surprise for you, Mr. Regan.
I've had lots today.
My name's Crackley.
You're married to old Crackley, the circus owner?
I married his son, Mr. Regan.
His son?
Yeah, George Crackley. The little runt that's standing in back of you.
I turned. George was there, all right. And he was little, maybe 4 feet 10 inches tall, wearing a clown suit. His face was in queer makeup, chalk white, bruised blue. He was supposed to look like a sad clown. And he was.
What are you doing around here?
Looking for a man.
She look like a man?
No.
You're after my wife, too. You were standing real close.
Guys fall in love with me, Regan. My husband's a poor sport about it.
Oh, make sure you don't wake up dead, mister. Make sure you don't get dropped on.
I'll be real careful.
George, if you don't get out of here...
Ruth, don't you think it's time you were getting into your costume? The walk-around will begin in 4 or 5 minutes.
A tall clown filled the opening to the tent. When he spoke, Ruth began fumbling with the costume. Little George looked like he was going to cry, then walked out of the tent without a word. Ruth followed him. And I was left alone with a tall clown in makeup, with a red watermelon mouth and cold blue eyes.
I hated to interrupt, Mr. Regan, but Ruth must dress for the walk-around, as we of the circus call our opening parade.
You seem to have an effect on George, too.
Oh, George and I are partners. He's the sad, bruised clown, and I am the cruel clown. I frightened him, mauled him, beat and bruised him with various objects. It amuses people.
Naturally.
We're all sadists at heart.
Maybe you can help me.
I'll try.
I'm looking for a tall, eccentric man. Wears tennis shoes, rope for a belt. Has long, stringy, yellowish hair, you know him?
Oh.
I said, do you know him?
Of course. That would be Mr. Bliss.
Where can I find him?
As a matter of fact, Mr. Regan, I have a message from Mr. Bliss. He wants to see you.
Oh? Who will I say sent me?
Just the cruel clown. He'll know who you mean.
Where do I meet Bliss?
At his home. I'll tell you how to get there.
He did. I got into my car and started the drive to his shack. I'd meet him on his own terms at his place. It was a 15-minute drive, most of the way up a side road. I was almost there when a car pulled into the side road behind me, coming up fast, its headlights growing in my rearview mirror. I pulled over to let the speedball pass. He began to cut in on me. The trailer he had hitched on sideswiped me. I felt myself go against the steering post. Then I didn't feel anything for a long time. I'd been thrown clear of my car. When I came to, there was a huge man standing over me, black in the moonlight. My gun was gone. My hand caught at a club, and then I saw it wasn't a club, but a small, very small chair arm. Must have fallen from the trailer. The trailer was gone. The man started moving in.
Well, sweetheart.
Stand back.
Coming to, sweetheart?
Get back.
I got your gun, baby. I'm Logan, chief of police at Crossroads. Maybe I ought to take you into custody for reckless driving.
Logan, I'm a private detective from Los Angeles.
Well, why don't you get up from the ground and tell me about it? Here.
Yeah, thanks. Somebody ran me off the road on purpose. And I think I know who.
That's so, sweetheart?
That's not all. There's something phony about that circus play in your town.
Ain't no circus around here.
You're real funny.
Fact is, I'll make you a bet, baby. You can't show me no circus around these parts.
You seem sure of that.
Give you 20 to 1.
Let's go take a look.
All right.
We drove in his car to the circus lot. When we got there, we saw the lot was full of color. All of it moonlight. Vacant. Not a candy wrapper. The crackly great combined circus was gone. As though it had never existed.
This is CBS, and you are listening to No Sad Clowns for Me, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
It started bad, and it got worse. The lion had us balled up in it like a cat in a fish line before I even heard of the case. Then I took over. I did fine. Trying to get our receipt for $75 back, I got myself run off the road near the town of Crossroads, got my car smashed up. Then the chief of police told me that the crackly great combined circus where I'd spent an hour wasn't there. And it wasn't. The chief of police thought this was real funny.
Where'd the circus go, sweetheart?
L.A., probably.
You're kind of slick.
Couldn't have been gone more than an hour. Look at those filled-in post holes.
You're a real bright fella.
And I know why it left in such a hurry.
Oh, you city fellas are real sharp-like.
The circus left because of a guy named Bliss.
You know about Bliss.
Bliss was putting money into a circus, not taking any out.
Keep talking.
Bliss gets tired of this, slaps an attachment on the circus. Crackly pulled the show out before it could be served.
Yeah, you're real smart. You'd better come along with me, sweetheart. We better have a little, talkie.
It hit the bullseye, and I got more than I bargained for. It seems Bliss had no friends, except Logan, who, being the local legal eagle, was also appointed by Bliss as his lawyer, having full power of attorney. Now Logan was ready to talk.
Bliss, now, he ain't no dummy. He was in the circus himself years ago, before he got wise and made a lot of dough in plumbing fixtures. Ain't no money in show business, sweetheart.
They tell me.
Now, Bliss, he ain't old, but he's kind of funny. All of a sudden, he wants to
invest in a circus. His old love. But he also wants to make some money out of it.
Oh, Bliss, he likes money. He married a circus gal years ago. Left her because she was draining away his salary.
How much money did Bliss put into the crackly circus?
Well, baby, Bliss bought in deep enough to own, 49% of the show.
Bliss isn't getting any money out of his investment, so he slaps an attachment on the show. Crackly gets wind of it, pulls the show out.
You were right up to there, sweetheart.
Talk, Logan.
I got a note from Bliss just this afternoon. Told me to lift the attachment order. It was a real happy note.
Where's Bliss now?
Honest, baby, I don't know. He's queer. He's just gone.
Bliss skipped out on his wife. That can't be his real name.
No, I can't tell you much. Promised Bliss I wouldn't, but his name used to be Elmer C. Bickle.
You got a phone, Logan?
Here you are, baby. But get the charges.
I was getting an idea. Another reason for the show's moving. One thing was sure. Bliss was in it up to his ears. It was 2 a.m. now, and I got the Lion at home.
Anthony J. Lion, Detective Bureau, Home Office. We never sleep.
And why haven't you been asleep?
Jeffrey. Well, I've had some very important work to do tonight.
Such as?
Pasting those dollar bills together, if you must know.
You're graduating from kindergarten right now, Fatso. Get your car out.
At this hour?
I'm in Crossroads, California, slaving for the agency, and you can help.
What can I do?
Get all the stuff you can on a guy named Elmer C. Bickle.
Bickle?
Bickle.
Oh.
Joined the circus years ago, married somebody, left his wife. Check variety.
That'll take all night, Jeffrey.
You've got 1 hour. Oh, another thing, Fatso. Check the theatrical hotels, places where show people, circus people put up. Here's what we need. A line on anybody connected with the Crackley Great Combined...
I can give you that, sweetheart.
What?
You what?
I know where they probably hold in.
Lion, forget that last. But check Bickle. I hung up, and Logan said he'd heard the performers in Crackley Circus usually stayed at the Fossman Hotel in Los Angeles. So I called the Fossman Hotel.
Oh, hello.
The desk clerk sounded wide awake.
Fossman Hotel?
Has Mr. Crackley checked in?
Who's asking?
Regan, private investigator.
Well, we certainly could have used a private investigator this morning.
Why?
Heavens, the circus came in without telling us. Everybody's so upset.
You better make sure they pay in advance.
Oh, well, Mr. Crackley paid everything in advance. He has a finest suite of rooms. But there's such confusion. I just don't know what to do.
You wouldn't. Now, about Crackley.
Oh, I'll ring. But he's probably asleep anyway.
Hello?
Crackley, this is Jeff Regan.
Oh, Regan.
Why did you run away?
I don't know. Well, I mean, we had to leave because we were so low on funds that the sheriff's office is going to tax the show. We heard of the order and left town to leave their jurisdiction.
Yeah, sure. Well, your worries are over, Crackley. I've found Bliss for you. Bickle, too.
Oh, no, it's impossible. Well, I mean...
Yeah, I know what you mean. It hit me. The circus was making money. Crackley had paid his hotel bill in advance. Fine suite of rooms. Why, he'd probably been keeping a double set of books cheating Bliss. I got Logan, got in his car, and drove back to the deserted circus lot. We drove fast. The circus had pulled out in the middle of the night for another reason. And I knew now we'd better look for that reason. The lot was deserted. Low, cold mist over the ground. Gray morning. A small animal moved through the mist like a creature from another world. A small dog. He'd found what we couldn't see. He had something in his mouth. A cap with a red pom-pom on its pointed end. A clown's cap, stained with blood. Logan had men digging within minutes. One of the filled post holes seemed larger than the rest. This was it.
We found him, Mr. Regan.
Yeah. Let me see his face.
Yeah. Kind of muddy.
Still in makeup. Tall, cruel clown.
You know him?
Yeah. You too. Pull the skull cap off.
Poor Mr.
Bickle, alias Bliss. Long, stringy, yellowish hair like an actor. Only he isn't playing at being dead. Come on, Logan. Keys to your car. I've got an appointment at the Fossman Hotel. I took Logan's car, made the 2-hour trip back to L.A. I phoned the Lion as soon as I hit town. I got the complete rundown on Bickle. Then I went to the Fossman Hotel. I asked the room clerk for old Crackley's room number. It was 203. I didn't wait to be announced. You should lock your door, Crackley. You could get company you might not enjoy.
Well, I've been waiting for you.
I know why you pulled out of Crossroads so fast last night, Crackley.
But I don't know anything.
I found Bliss.
I'm not interested in Bliss anymore.
And maybe you're interested in Bickle, the tall clown.
Now, please, Mr. Regan.
Bliss joined the circus under his real name, Bickle, to check up on his investment.
The tall clown was Bliss?
Yeah. He was eccentric, but not eccentric enough to throw his money away. But he got more than he bargained for.
No, please, now leave me alone.
He's dead, Crackley.
Dead. Yes, dead.
You pulled out of Crossroads last night because a man was killed and buried there on the lot.
But I didn't kill him.
But you know who did?
No.
I had the lion check on Bickle. It seems he married a Ruth Sandusky in Chicago, April 18th, 1930. Now, Ruth Sandusky was only a kid then, featured in an animal act.
My son George married her in good faith, Mr. Regan. I was against the marriage.
Where's George now?
But I can't tell you.
I left him in Crackley's suite of rooms, checked the front desk for George's room. Was told he lived in his own small trailer. But when he was in town, he always parked it down by the circus warehouse. That's where I headed. The circus warehouse was down by the tracks. It was a raw wood building that had fallen in on its bones. Most of the circus trucks had unloaded. Things were pretty quiet. I got out of the car, walked around. The rear of the warehouse was parked a small trailer, beat up. The one that had forced me off the highway near Crossroads. Inside, I found Ruth. Ruth Sandusky.
Regan.
Married Elmer C. Bickle in Chicago, April 18th, 1930.
You're a real bright-eye.
You kind of like being married, don't you, Ruth? So much you get married twice.
Girl needs a man.
With money.
Bickle ran away from me the week we played Chillicothe. The only way I knew he was alive, he used to put crazy ads in the trades every Christmas.
You'll be sitting pretty when old man Crackley dies and George inherits the circus.
Oh, I try not to think of such things.
Bickle joined the circus 3 weeks ago. He recognized you, wanted you again, moved in on George. The thing is, you were still married to Bickle. You kind of overlooked getting a divorce, which meant you weren't legally married to George, meaning you had no future claim on the circus.
You won't tell George. I'll make it worth your while, Mr. Regan.
Trouble is, lady, George saw Bickle, the new clown, moving in on him. And easily, too. You were afraid to hold Bickle off, afraid he might yell bigamy. Real cozy for you, Ruth. Both husbands, clowns in the same act.
You better stop talking, Mr. Regan.
George had to move out of your tent, sleep in his trailer. He was crazy jealous. That's why he tried to finish me by driving me off the road. He thought I was moving in, too.
Stop it while you still got the chance.
Bickle said, come back to me or I yelled bigamy, and you killed him.
Stop it!
Only one thing, lady. You didn't know that Bickle and Bliss were the same man.
Bliss?
Yeah, the angel. The guy that was pouring all that money into the circus.
Bickle was Bliss. I'm still married to him, legally.
That's almost right.
Yeah. Yes, it was bigamy. What do I want with George now? As the wife of Bliss or whatever he called himself now, I'll inherit all his dough.
You killed Bliss.
What? Crackley thinks his son did it. George will go to the gas chamber for me. I'm a bigamist, Mr. Regan, so give me 2 years.
No, Ruth, no. What? No, you won't get rid of me that easy.
George.
I heard what
Little
you were
George, the sad, bruised clown, stood in the doorway of the small trailer. It was like he didn't see me, only Ruth, his almost wife. But he'd heard plenty.
I thought you killed him because he was molesting you.
Shut up, George.
I thought you killed him because you loved me.
You stay away from me, George.
Ruth ran out of the trailer, followed by George. He slammed the door to hold me back. I got the door open just in time to see little George slip into the circus warehouse. I ran after them, fast. Inside the warehouse, it was dim. There was the sharp smell of circus animals. Little George was flexing his muscles for the first time in his life.
I won't let him get you. I'll take you from the gas chamber.
A superhuman strength had come into him. He had Ruth by the hair and was forcing her into an animal cage. The tiger was crouched in the corner of the cage, ready to jump. I grabbed both George and Ruth by the hair and pulled them back. I kicked the cage shut.
Why didn't you let me finish?
Sorry, George. The state will want witnesses when Ruth finishes her act. In the gas chamber. That wound it up. I called Sanducci of homicide. When they came to take Ruth away, I saw little George, the fall guy, standing near his trailer, all alone. 2 hours later, I checked in with the Lion at the office.
We're in the money. We're in the money.
Still at the paste pot, Lion?
Oh, yes, my boy. I've just finished pasting the last bill together. The silk threads match perfectly.
Nice, neat job.
Oh, Jeffrey, you just don't know how hard I work for our future.
Uh-huh. Bank should take these all right.
Now, I slaved all night, my boy.
The only thing, money doesn't belong to us.
Yeah, I think I'll just press the bill so the bank will be sure to... What?
Money isn't ours.
But, Hey, what do you mean?
I got a call from Logan. Says he found your receipt in the Bliss shack. I had to tell him we got the $75 to keep us from taking the case.
Oh.
So the Bliss estate demands its money back.
It's all your fault, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
If you hadn't opened
Well, I guess I'll just have to keep this 100.
Yeah. Well, what's that you have?
$100 bill. Got 2 more, just like it.
Jeffrey. But who?
Oh, Crackley gave it to me.
Yeah.
He thought his son George had killed Bickle. When we proved it was Ruth, he gave it.
Oh, how could I have ever doubted you, Jeffrey?
Oh, another thing, Lion.
Yeah?
Meant to tell you, those bills you pasted together?
No, I worked so hard over them.
Well, the bank would have fitted the bills together for you.
Yes. Oh, no!
Jeff Regan, Investigator, is written by William Frug and Gilbert Thomas, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is transcribed each week at the same time over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking, and inviting you to be with us again next Sunday at 8:30 for more suspense and mystery and adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago tonight, through the facilities of your local National Broadcasting Company station, we were privileged to enjoy your attention at the premiere broadcast of a new series of authentic documented dramas entitled Dragnet. This evening, on the occasion of our first anniversary as weekly guests in your home, the cast, technicians, and producers of Dragnet wish to state publicly that our indebtedness is enormous. For the degree of success which Dragnet has achieved during the past year, our first and greatest obligation is to you, our weekly listeners, for your support, for your many kind letters of encouragement, criticism, and appraisal. If Dragnet is a proven success, then you have made it so. Behind the scenes, we have many more people to thank: our engineers, our sound technicians, our cast. To the radio editors and columnists across the nation, also, a sincere thank you for your judgment of our efforts. Additionally, claims on our thanks are held by the Los Angeles Police Department, for the National Broadcasting Company, and the Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company, makers of Fatima cigarettes. To all of these, and to you, our gratitude. Here at the starting point of Dragnet's second year of broadcasting, our wish is twofold. First, that we may enjoy your continued support. Secondly, that we may deserve that support. Thank you. The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. Scores of lone women have been beaten and robbed. The victims have been unable to identify the criminals. Your job, get them.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke extra mild Fatima. Yes, Fatima is the king-size cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild. To give Fatima a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all, long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, July 1st. It was mild in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Walker, captain of robbery. My name's Friday. It was 9:27 p.m. when I left the phone booth at the Sunset Drive-In and got to our car. 80K. Anything new? Well, Captain Walker's wife had her baby. Boy, 8 pounds.
Oh, that's swell. She all right?
Yeah, so's the captain.
Look at the uniform on the waitress thing.
Yeah, they sure dress them up, don't they?
Good evening.
Hi, Daisy.
Oh, hello. Didn't recognize you. What'll you have? The usual?
No, I think I'll have something else besides a hamburger this time.
Here's the menu. Take your choice.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm kind of hungry. Maybe I'll take a meal.
42R, 816 West. Fried shrimp's good.
Where's that?
Right there.
Oh, yeah. 95 cents.
What's all this stuff I've been reading in the paper?
What's that?
Couple of guys going around snatching purses and beating up women. Paper says it's happened 7 times in the last 2 weeks.
Roast beef, 90 cents.
Roast beef's good, too. Don't you know who's been doing it?
No, not yet. What do you get with these liver and onions, Dave?
Same as with everything else. Soup, potatoes, and coffee.
85 cents.
Why don't they just take the purse? Why do they have to beat up the women?
We don't know.
Well, there's headlines staring me in the face every time I open a paper. I'm getting afraid to walk home at night.
Do you get coffee and dessert with the Salisbury steak?
Yeah.
65 cents.
72T, Roger on your call. Say, do you guys know what I've been talking about?
Yeah, Daisy, we know.
I'll take the Salisbury steak.
Yeah, so'll I.
Hamburger special, wrong too.
Well done on mine, please.
Burn. Okay. Be a couple of minutes.
Thanks.
All units in the vicinity of 1016 North McAdam.
That's us. Get it up.
484 PS and slugging, code 3. All units in the vicinity of 1016 North McAdam, 484 PS and slugging, code 3. 61F, take the call. Okay.
I'll let her know we're going.
Okay.
I'll be right there.
No, we're leaving. We'll be back.
Okay.
You know, I've been wondering.
What's that?
Hamburger and Salisbury steak, what's the difference?
Price. To the police officer, the lowest thief and most cowardly is the purse snatcher who preys on women. For more than a month, lone women throughout the western section of the city have been robbed and beaten. The descriptions were confused and varied because the attacks took place at night. 10:06 p.m. We got to the location on North McAdam where the woman was lying on the sidewalk. She'd been badly beaten about the face and neck, and her jaw had been broken. Officers Reed and Shell of Unit 61F were already there.
Any witnesses, officer?
Yeah, this man in the sweater here saw it happen. Says the victim's name's Swanson. This is Mr. Kahn.
How do you do? This is Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday. I wonder if we could talk to you, please.
Yeah, certainly. You want to come into the house?
Right over here will be all right.
That officer there says that you saw it happen.
That's right. I was watching television. I heard this scream outside. I looked out and saw these 2 men beating her up.
Can you describe them?
Well, the light wasn't real good. They're about as tall as you two, but they had slighter builds.
How old were they? Could you see that?
I'd say they were young, maybe 18, 19. I saw them knock her down. It was terrible. They hit her and then they kicked her. They picked up the purse and ran down that way.
And you called the police?
Yes, but not right away. I ran out and saw them get in their car across the street. They drove right past me. Then they turned east there on Romaine.
Can you describe the car for us?
I got the license number for you. The last 3 numbers were 552.
Just 3 numbers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe the car? What kind was it?
Oh, I don't know. It was new. I think it was black. Maybe a sedan.
Well, was it a large car or a small one?
Oh, kind of medium.
Did you notice the back of it?
Yeah, that's where I saw the license plate.
No, I mean, did you notice anything about the car? Maybe a dent on the fender or a sticker on the window?
No, I didn't look at the window.
Did the car have a spotlight or a radio antenna?
Well, I guess I didn't see any. I was trying to look at the license plates.
Did you notice anything unusual about the car? Any identifying marks at all?
No, I didn't notice.
How about the make of the car? Did you see what kind of one?
No, the last 3 numbers on the license plate were 552.
California license plate?
Yes, it was. That should be enough here. Do you think you'll catch them tonight?
Do you know how many plates end in 552? While Ben called in a general description of the car and the 2 attackers, I talked to the other bystanders. I found out that the victim's name was Mrs. Frida K. Swanson, a widow. She had a room at 1003 North McCadden. None of the neighbors had seen the robbery or the beating take place. 11:28 p.m., Ben and I arrived at Hollywood Receiving Hospital to interview Mrs. Swanson, but she was unable to talk or to identify her attackers. She wrote on a piece of paper that she'd been slugged from behind. She never got a good look at the men. Besides a broken jaw, she was suffering from a fractured wrist, a broken nose, and bruises about the face and body. Tuesday, July 2nd, the getaway car used in the attack on the previous night was found abandoned on Hollywood Boulevard and proved to be a stolen car. License number 6 Young 4552. The victim's empty purse was found inside. Routine investigation developed no leads. We met with Captain Walker. Because the last 4 attacks had taken place within a 6-block radius, we set up a plan of decoys in an attempt to trap the 2 purse snatchers. 4 policewomen from Juvenile Bureau and a special detail from Metropolitan Division were assigned. Tuesday, 4 p.m., a special detail was ordered to the squad room for briefing.
Hello, Joe.
Oh, hiya, Dorothy.
How's your tuxedo? Back in mothballs?
Yeah, how are your feet?
My feet, nothing the matter with them. You're a good dancer.
Yeah, I bet I could use some lessons.
Oh, you don't need lessons, Joe. You need practice.
Okay, let's get started. I don't have to tell you the risks involved in an operation like this. I want all of you to know where everybody will be at any given time. By all of you, I mean the police women and also the men who'll be in the squad cars. If anybody misses anything, stop me. We don't have much of a description of the men we're after. There are 2 of them, both about 18 years old. Usually they wear sneakers, slacks, and sport coats. They've been in different kinds of cars, all of them stolen. We keep each car for a few days, then ditch it. Hold on the map, will you, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Now, here's the area here. Residential, 90% of the dwellings have garages, so if a car is parked on the street, it might be unusual. Each of you will be given a list of cars stolen in the last 48 hours, still outstanding. I want you to check all parked cars against the hot sheet. First, hold up your purses, please. Young lady, that purse is too small, I'm afraid. Let's make it look worthwhile.
Yes, sir.
All right. Of course, you won't be carrying your guns in your purse. You wear a shoulder holster. Before you leave, Sergeant Friday will pass out some marked bills I want you to carry. Okay, now, policewoman Short. You'll board a westbound streetcar at Western and Santa Monica Boulevard at 9:03 p.m. Don't worry about these schedules. The streetcar will be there. You get off at Las Palmas at 9:13 and walk south to Willoughby. Turn east on Willoughby to Hudson, then north 1 block to Romaine. You go west on Romaine to Cahuenga, and then retrace your steps to the starting point, and you're through. Got it?
Yes.
You'll be covered by Unit 81K.
Captain.
Yep.
How fast or slow should we walk?
Well, I'd say a pretty good pace. No woman likes to be alone on the streets at night, so it'd be natural.
Yes, sir.
Policewoman Ball.
Yes, sir.
You'll board an eastbound bus at La Brea and Melrose at 9:35 p.m. You get off at Wilcox and Melrose at 9:45. Walk north on Wilcox to Waring. Turn west on Waring for 2 blocks, then north on Cherokee. You follow Cherokee for 2 blocks, turn east on Romaine. Follow Romaine to Cole, and turn north on Cole. When you get to Santa Monica Boulevard, retrace your steps to your starting point. You'll be covered by Unit 87K.
Will the cars be cruising or will they be parked?
Both. Friday and Romero will be cruising all the time. I'll get to the others when I finish with these instructions. Of course, if you see any police car, give no recognition.
Yes, sir. Captain,
Yeah?
you said the two suspects wear sneakers?
That's right.
It'd be pretty hard to hear them come up behind you.
I'd say so.
Did any of the victims hear them?
If they had, they wouldn't be victims.
9 p.m. The decoy plan went into effect. We waited. Tuesday night passed. Nothing happened. Wednesday night, nothing. Thursday, July 4th, the decoy plan was enlarged to include a larger area, but everything was quiet. Friday, July 5th. Captain Walker decided that the new plan, covering an area from La Brea to Vine Street and from Sunset to Beverly, would be kept in operation. 10:45 p.m. Ben and I cruised the exposed area.
We've been thinking about moving to a new place.
Yeah?
Only trouble is we don't know what's going to happen.
You mean if rent control goes off?
Yeah. We don't know if rents will go up or down.
You've got a lease, haven't you?
Unit 71
That's
Mars,
next month.
Regan in Mariposa, 507 party.
We don't know what to do. We even tossed a coin to decide.
Well, that's about as good a way as any.
Coin came up tails 4 times in a row.
Yeah?
Wife changed her mind on each toss. No decision.
Roger, 71R.
That a policewoman down there?
Yeah, Nancy Short. You got her out there?
South on Hudson, east on Melrose, then up Wilcox to Sunset.
All units, Willoughby and Hudson, 484BS and slugging code 3.
That's us. Let's roll on it.
83F, Willoughby and Hudson, 484BS and slugging code 3.
We drove to Willoughby and Hudson, just south of the corner, and saw a woman sitting on the grass with a few people around. She was a young woman, about 25. Her clothes had been torn, and there was a red welt on her right cheekbone. She was trying to get to her feet as we came up.
There'll be an ambulance here in a few minutes, miss. Can you tell us how it happened?
My cheek's swelling.
Did you see who attacked
Yes, I did. I can tell you about them. Look, here, I ripped off one of their pockets. These cards fell out.
Driver's license. George Landon.
Here's the piece of cloth I tore off his pocket.
I'll take that, Ben. Thank you. Do you want to stay with her? See if I can get a make on this license.
Okay. Now, would you give me your name, please?
Barbara Curtis. I live over on Hudson.
80K to Control 1. 80K to Control 1.
Go ahead, Eddie K.
Check suspect for making warrants. George Landon, male, white, age 18, 5 feet 9 inches, 155 pounds, blue eyes, black hair. Address, 2722 and a half, Arthur Avenue, KMA 367.
Roger, Eddie K.
Robbed by a couple of young men.
Did you see the car?
Yes, I saw it. White sidewall tires. It was a club coupe. I tried to see the license plate. I couldn't make it out.
What color was the car?
I don't know. Dark green, I think. I'm so mad I could boil.
Can you describe the man?
Well, you got the driver's license. It's all there.
Well, that's just for one of them, miss. You said there were 2 men.
I don't know. I grabbed one of their coats and the other one hit me. The thing I'm so mad about is I tried to scream and nothing had come out.
I understand.
Hi. Here's the 63F. We got the call.
That's fine. This is the victim, Miss Curtis. If you'll handle the report and see that she gets home, we got a lead to check out here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Roll 1 to 80K.
What's your call back, Joe?
We better get it. Come on.
Right with you.
80K to Control 1. Go ahead.
80K. Suspect has misdemeanor and felony record. 1 arrest, suspicion of robbery, and 1 arrest, GTA. No wants at this time. Most recent address on suspect, 2722 and 1/2 Arthur Avenue.
Roger.
Been in trouble before. Felony and misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And the address matches.
Maybe this cloth does.
You are listening to Dragnet, the case history of a police investigation presented in the public interest by Fatima Cigarettes.
If you smoke a long cigarette, it will be in your interest to listen to a typical case history of a Fatima smoker.
It's the case of beautiful aviatrix Bab Beckwith, one of the few women who holds a commercial instructor's rating for single-engine land and sea aircraft. This is her actual signed statement.
I've been smoking long cigarettes for quite some time. Recently, a friend told me about a really mild king-size cigarette, Fatima. I'm very glad I tried them. Fatimas are a lot milder than any of the others I've smoked and have a much better flavor. I agree. It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
And so do more and more smokers every day. Actual figures show Extra Mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
So enjoy Extra Mild Fatima yourself.
The king-size cigarette, which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild.
You will prefer Fatima's much different, much better flavor.
You will agree.
It's wise to smoke Extra Mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke Extra Mild Fatima.
The best of all long cigarettes.
Friday, 11 p.m. Ben and I drove to 2722 and a half Arthur Avenue. It was a small house at the rear of a lot on the east end of town. Alongside the front house, there was a narrow passageway leading to the house in the back with a small lawn between the two. There was no alley, and anybody leaving from the front or back door had to go through the narrow passage. As we approached the house, a light was on in the front room, and through the window we could see a middle-aged woman reading a magazine. We rang the bell.
Yes?
Police officers. Does George Landon live here?
Why, yes, he does. I'm his aunt, Miss Landon. What do you want?
Can we come in?
Why, yes.
Thank you.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you, ma'am.
Is George Landon at home now?
No, he isn't, but I think he'll be home soon. He never stays out late. He isn't in any trouble, is he?
Do you know where he is?
With his friends, I suppose. He's a popular boy. He really should be home soon.
Where's he been, Miss Landon?
I don't know. He goes out at night, you know, with his friends.
Who are they?
Well, I really don't know. You see, it's difficult to keep track of a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big boy, and he's full of vitality. He has to find things to do.
Yes, ma'am.
He lives here with me. I'm his aunt. I'm not married, so I take care of him. His parents died when he was a baby.
I see. Does George work, or does he go to school?
Oh, he's finished school. You aren't here about that automobile that was stolen a year ago, are you?
No, ma'am.
Oh, he had some trouble then, but I'm sure he didn't do it. Since then, he's been very good. He hasn't missed a day's work, and he goes to church with me any time I ask him.
Where does he spend his evenings, do you know?
Well, I told you, with his friends. A young man has to use up his energy. I don't try to hold him too tightly. Good boy like him.
Can we look at his room?
Oh, yes. It's right here.
All right.
I'll show you how neat he keeps it. Oh, there. Isn't that nice?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not trying to defend him. I'm only telling you about him. He keeps this room cleaned up himself. He smokes a little, but I've never smelled a drop of liquor on his breath. He's a very good boy.
Yes, ma'am.
He even reads a lot. You can see his books over here.
Yes, ma'am.
You mind if we look around a little?
No, that's all right. Should be home soon. He's probably at a movie. Do you want to wait for him?
No, that won't be necessary.
He's always home by midnight. I'll tell him you were here. Oh, that must be George now. George!
Yeah?
These men would like to talk to you. They're police officers.
All right, take it easy, young fella.
Oh, let go. Hold him. Turn him around.
Yep.
Stand still, young fella. No, it's no good.
What do you guys think you're doing? I didn't do anything. I was just out for a ride.
This your nephew?
Yes.
Coat's torn, Joe. Pocket ripped off.
Is this your driver's license here, George?
Yeah. I lost it.
When?
Last week.
It was found tonight.
So what?
How'd you tear your coat?
Getting out of the car the other night.
Here's a piece of cloth. The girl who was attacked tonight gave it to us. It matches the tear there in your coat.
What have you done, George?
Tell her.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it any time. He talked me into it.
Who talked you into it?
He made me do it. He's got a gun, and he stole the cars. He made all the plans.
Who made all the plans?
Tommy. Oh, we never did anything except hang out at the drugstore until that time a year ago.
What's his last name?
He said that it'd always be held against me, and I better go along with him.
Tommy who?
Decker.
Was he with you tonight?
Yeah, he's the one that hit her when she grabbed hold of me. He's the one that always hit him. I never wanted him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Where's the stuff you took out of that purse?
Well, Tommy's going to hide it.
Where?
Back of where he works.
Where's that?
Oh, a garage someplace. I don't know where. He just started working there.
Where does he live?
Place on West 6th. I never been there.
What does this Decker look like?
Well, he's the same age I am, but about an inch taller and must be 15 pounds heavier. He's got dark hair.
How's he dressed?
Just like me. Sneakers and brown slacks and a tan sport coat.
Better call the office, Ben.
Yeah. Can I use your telephone, ma'am?
Oh, it's in the hall behind the door.
Thank you. You said Decker's got a gun?
Yeah.
Officer, will you tell me the truth?
I'll try, ma'am.
Are George and this Tommy Decker the two men the papers have been writing about?
I'm afraid so.
The ones who've been robbing the women?
Yes, ma'am.
And beating them up?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it. I didn't know what I was doing.
I raised you, George. I didn't either.
11:42 p.m. We checked into the office with the 18-year-old suspect, George Landon. While Ben and the police stenographer took down the statement, I went down to R&I and pulled a package on the other suspect, Thomas Decker. His mama sheet showed a petition had been filed on 459 PC and 488 PC. They also showed 3 different recent addresses for Decker. One on West 6th Street, one on South Mariposa, and a third on North Catalina. 2 units were dispatched to the first 2 addresses. Ben and I went to the address on North Catalina, a rooming house. We learned from Decker's landlady that he was working as an apprentice mechanic on the swing shift at a large garage on South Flower Street. 12:51 a.m., Ben and I arrived at the garage.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah?
Police officer. Does Thomas Decker work here?
Yeah, he works here. Hey, Decker! Hey, Decker! Yeah? Couple of guys here to see you. There he is back there.
Thank you.
What do you want?
You Thomas Decker?
Yeah?
Police officers like to talk to you.
Watch it, Joe. Come on. Hey, he's going in the locker room. All right. It's locked. Come on, hit it. Yeah. Don't go. Hey, you! You over there. Any other way out of this locker room?
Yeah, down the hall in the annex.
Come on, Ben.
All right.
Here we are.
Watch it! Came from behind that car, back by the door.
All right, cover me.
All right, Ben, give it back to him. Throw your gun out. Throw it out.
Here it is. Don't shoot.
Right, now, come on out. Hands behind your head.
I'll get the gun. All right, you turn around.
Lousy. Watch it, Joe. Watch it. Hey, he's getting away. Head him off downstairs. No. There he goes. Head him up. Let it go. Let me go. All right.
All right, get the cuffs on him, Ben.
Yeah. 18 years old. What's it prove?
I don't know. Sometimes you kind of wonder if it's true.
What's that?
There's no such thing as a bad boy.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
On November 1st, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 82, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to extra mild Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, extra mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the king-size cigarette that is extra mild.
Extra mild because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give it a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Thomas Decker and George Landon were tried and convicted on 5 counts of grand theft person, 5 counts of grand theft auto, and 5 counts of assault with intent to do great bodily harm. They were sentenced to the state penitentiary for a term as prescribed by law and are now serving their sentence.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chief of Police W.A. Wharton speaking from his office in City Hall, Los Angeles, California.
As Chief of Police of the City of Los Angeles, I wish to extend my heartiest congratulations to the program Dragnet on the occasion of its first anniversary. The overwhelming success of this program, as indicated by the hundreds of commendatory letters, telegrams, and personal comments, I feel has been due to the splendid job of portraying police officers and their work. The American public, by its enthusiastic acceptance of Dragnet, has indicated a desire for factual police programs. The Los Angeles Police Department is proud to contribute to the constructive entertainment of both adults and children through this medium. May I extend my best wishes to the National Broadcasting Company, the sponsor, the actors, the writer, and the producer of Dragnet. And I trust there will be many more years of continued success for this program.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Next, a great new show, Sarah's Private Caper on NBC.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. The owner of a fur store has been shot and killed. Your only lead, a missing fur coat. The killer is at large. Your job, get him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke extra mild Fatima. Yes, Fatima is the king-size cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give Fatima a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all, long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, November 23rd. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Blaine Steed, captain of homicide. My name's Friday. It was 6:35 p.m. and we got to the corner of Western and Lexington, the Western Fur Shop.
Hi, Brennan.
Hi. What happened, Frank?
The owner's been shot. His name's Albert Carver.
Yeah?
Who is that? Mrs. Carver. Haven't been able to get anything out of her.
Where's the body?
In the back. Munkers is back there. Did you call the lab? Yeah. Jones on his way. Photographer and fingerprint men with him.
All right, let's take a look.
Nothing seems to be messed up. Back room is.
It was a small shop. A couple of fur coats on dummies on one side of the store. And On the other, a tall glass case holding about 15 more. Mrs. Kreiber sat on a straight-back chair staring at the floor. We went through the curtains into the back room of the store. Sprawled out on the floor at the far end of the room was the body of a man. He had a fur coat gripped in one hand. Sergeant Moncrief from Hollywood Division was standing by.
What do you figure, Monk? Looks like a couple of hours.
Did you call the coroner?
Yeah.
How long you been here, Monk?
Just a couple of minutes.
You think Miss Kreiber moved anything here?
I don't think so. She was sitting in that chair when we got here. I don't think she's moved except to call in.
Did she put in the call?
Yeah. Empty shells here on the floor.
Oh, you got a pencil?
Yeah.
Yeah, 32.
Yeah. You think robbery?
I don't know. Let's talk to the wife.
Wait a minute. Bottle here.
Yeah, Sierra Valley Wine Company. World's finest muscatel.
27 cents a pint.
Nobody touched this, did they?
No, I've been here. No.
Okay, let's get out front.
Anything in the customer files running? Not so far.
You tried to talk to Miss Kreiber again?
No, pretty bad.
Let's give it a try. Miss Kreiber? I'm Sergeant Friday. This is Sergeant Romero. We'd like to talk to you if we could. We know how you must feel, but there are a few questions that we have to ask you. Did you telephone the police?
We have to know how it happened, Miss Kreiber.
Miss Kreiber? Can you tell us what happened?
Who is it? What do you want?
We're police officers.
Oh, Albert. Albert's dead. Albert! Albert! Someone call the police?
Miss Kreiber, we are the police.
My husband's been murdered. He's dead.
We better leave her.
Friday. Here's something I found in the customer file.
Miss Terry Shepard, 10113 Normandy, apartment 3. What about it?
She took a coat out that was in storage. Took it out today.
Well, we'll check her out when we're finished here. Thanks.
Looks like the only hot receipt in the file.
Hi, Lee.
Joe, then?
In the back room.
What is it?
Killing. Moncrief will show you.
Okay. Let's look.
Think we ought to try the wife again?
We can try. Miss Kreiber, can we do anything for you?
Oh, I'm a little better. I'll try to tell you what I can.
All right. When did you get here?
It must have been about 6 o'clock, a few minutes after. I came to take him home.
Any customers around?
No, the store was empty. I stood here for a few minutes waiting, and then I went in the back and...
Yes, was the front door open?
No. Yes. The front door?
Yes, ma'am, the front.
Yes, open.
Did you telephone the police?
I think I did.
Did you come here to pick him up?
No. No, usually he drives home himself. I came down on the streetcar to ride home with him.
What kind of a car do you have?
An Oldsmobile. 1939 or 40, I guess it is.
Where does he usually park?
In the rear of the store. This little place back.
I'll take a look.
All right. Where is your home?
3412 Northwestern. I thought there was something wrong when I got a telegram from him. He said not to come down tonight. He said he'd be home late.
What time was that?
At 4 o'clock. Oh, I'm all mixed up. I haven't told it to you as I remember it. First I telephoned here to the shop.
That was this afternoon?
Yes, 3:30. I'm sure of that because I I made some other calls. I spoke to Albert. He didn't say he was going to be late. Then at 4 o'clock, I received the telegram.
Do you have that with you?
Yes, it's in my purse somewhere. Somewhere. Oh, here it is.
All right. Thank you. Note comes down. I won't be home until late after see a customer, Albert. Can I keep this? We'll return it to you.
Yes.
What'd you do after you got this wire, Miss Kreiber?
Well, nothing. I thought it was strange, but I didn't think too much about it. Then I started wondering why he didn't say anything over the telephone about being late, so I came down here on the streetcar.
Did you phone the store just before you left your house?
Yes, but there was no answer.
Parking lot's empty.
Better get out an APB on the car, huh?
Miss Kreiber, you said your car was 1939 or 40 Oldsmobile, didn't you?
1940. I remember now.
What model is that?
It was sedan, light blue.
Do you remember the license number?
Well, I have it on this chain with the extra keys. Here it is, on this little tag. The veterans make these.
Thank you.
Joe, can I see him, ma'am?
Sure. Excuse me, Miss Kramer.
Do you want me to wait? I'd like to go home.
We'd like you to wait for a little while, yes. Do you have any relatives living here?
A niece and a nephew in Beverly Hills. Jerome Reed. They live on Cannon Drive.
All right, we'll call them for you.
Thank you.
Lee, is this phone out here all right to handle?
Yeah, it's been dusted.
Okay.
Joe, you coming in?
Yeah, right away.
It's pretty clear, easy to trace.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say he was standing over here by the curtains when he was shot. That's where the stains begin.
Mm-hmm.
And he must have stumbled along this glass case. You can see the smears here in the glass where he tried to grab hold of something.
Yeah.
And I guess he caught hold of that fur coat and pulled it down with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stumbled and bumped up against this coat rack, fell through that and up against the safe.
How many times was he hit?
6 empty casings on the floor. Looks like 4 through-and-through wounds.
32, huh?
That's right. The wife know if anything's missing?
Yeah, she's in pretty bad shape.
It looks to me like somebody took his wristwatch and a ring from his left hand. If he had a billfold, that's gone. No coat. All the trouser pockets are turned inside out.
What about that wine bottle?
It's smeared. Can't lift a thing.
Okay, thanks. Ben?
I'm still on the phone.
Okay.
No. License 15, Boston. 6707. No, 707. Yeah. Driver might be on. Hang on a minute, Wallace. What? Now, give that DMV, will you? Save another call.
Miss Kreiber, did your husband have a wallet?
Yes, brown alligator.
Did he keep his identification in it?
Yes.
Did he carry much cash?
No, just a few dollars. He was always afraid of holdups.
Thank you. You want to give that to him, Ben?
Yeah, okay. Hey, Wallace, suspect might have a brown alligator wallet with identification cards of Albert Kreiber. Yeah, that's C-R-I-B, Boston, B, Boston, E-R. 3412 Northwestern Avenue. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bye.
Joe? Might still be here.
Yeah, Monk?
Invoice from the Far North Fur Company. 3 mink coats delivered here today. I looked all around. I only found 2, 1 missing.
Did you find a sales slip for the other one?
No.
Miss Kreiber, would you come over here, please?
Yes.
Where are they, Monk?
Over here.
All right. Over this way. Well, these are mink coats here, aren't they?
Yes. It's wild mink. Albert told me he ordered them.
Yes, ma'am. We found the invoice.
He ordered 3. There are only 2 here.
Do you know anything about any of his customers?
No, I don't. I never met any of them. Oh, I remember now. Just the night before last, he called someone from home. Told her he'd have some minks in today and she could come in and look them over.
Do you know who that was?
I didn't hear any name.
Miss Kreiber, do you have any idea who might have wanted to shoot your husband?
No, none at all. He was friendly with everyone. Everybody liked Albert. He didn't run around. He was either working or at home.
Did he drink?
Not at all.
No, I mean beer, a little wine maybe?
No, he never touched anything.
All right, thank you. Brennan, will you see that Miss Kreiber gets to her nephews?
Right away.
Thank you. Might as well go, Ben.
Yeah.
We can talk to some of the neighbors.
6 shots fired. Wonder why nobody heard him.
Pretty heavy traffic outside, huh?
Somebody wanted a mink coat pretty bad. A coat like that costs quite a bit, doesn't it?
This one's going to come a little high. Yeah. 7:05 p.m. Most of the stores along the street were closed, but a small shoe repair shop across the street was open, so we went over there. On the window was one word, Pete, and a picture of a shoe. Sitting in the window was a small, dark man wearing a leather apron. He was working on a pair of shoes.
Hello.
We're police officers.
I see you drive up across the street.
Are you Pete?
Sure. What happens to Mr. Kreiber? He's robbed?
No, he was killed.
No. Shot? I do not hear anything.
Have you been sitting in your window all afternoon?
Oh, most all the time. You see, I have machinery here. I advertise that way. People watch me.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember seeing anybody going into Mr. Kreiber's this afternoon?
This afternoon, the 4 man. 2, 3 long black cars.
Uh-huh.
Anybody else?
Some.
Were they women?
Officer, they are all women.
I see. Did any of them walk out with a new fur coat?
Hold up. I do not see all of them, I guess, but I see 2.
Can you describe them?
One beautiful young girl, tall, red hair. She walked out with a big package.
What time was that?
3, 4 o'clock. The second woman is about the same time. Funny thing. I do not see the bottle, but Benny from liquor store on corner tell me the second one, the blonde. She buys bottle wine.
Did he tell you what kind?
No. Reason I remember, I laugh when he tell me. I go over to Benny's for a can of beer. He tells me she buys cheap wine, walks out of Kreiber's with new fur coat. Me, I spend $5 for good wine, and my wife has no fur coat.
How old was this blonde? How was she dressed?
She's maybe 25. Young, not too young, but young. She has on slacks, gray.
Mm-hmm. What kind of a fur coat was she wearing when she came out?
Mink. Look from here like mink.
I see. Did you notice where she went?
The blonde, the gray slacks, mink coat. Yes, it turned the corner onto Lexington and she went up the street.
Did you see Mr. Kreiber's car drive away?
No, he parked in back. I don't see him come in. I don't see him come out.
All right. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Mm-hmm. Officer, that blonde, something wrong there.
How do you mean?
Well, she has got fur coat, but she drinks wrong wine. I don't understand.
Why do you say that?
$5,000 coat, 27-cent wine.
7:45 p.m. Ben and I questioned Benny Davis at the Safety Liquor Store. He remembered the blonde and said she bought a bottle of Sierra Valley Muscatel from him between 2:30 and 3 o'clock that afternoon. He'd never seen her before. We contacted communications and gave a description of the blonde to supplement the All Points Bulletin. Then we started checking Western Union offices to find out where Mrs. Kreiber's telegram had been sent from. We finally traced it to the office at Normandy and Hollywood Boulevard. The operator who sent the telegram to Mrs. Kreiber also remembered receiving the call. She told us that the person who phoned in the message was a woman. The time, 3:22 p.m. We asked her to put a tracer on it and told her we'd check back. 8:24 p.m. Ben and I went to 10113 Normandy to talk to Miss Terry Shepard, whose name had appeared in the customer files at the fur store. The receipt showed she had taken a coat out of storage that afternoon.
This is something like the place the wife and I used to live in.
Yeah?
Same people must have built it. Apartment 3. Miss Terry Shepard.
All right, come in. The door's open. Find yourself a seat, Fred. I'll be with you in a minute.
Police officers, Miss Shepard.
Oh? What's wrong?
We'd like to talk to you.
What about?
Wonder if you could come out here, please.
Well, I just got out of the shower. You'll have to wait a minute.
Yeah? Yeah, this place has got the same floor plan as mine.
Kind of small, isn't it?
Not too bad. Wonder what rent she pays.
You don't mind if I wait a few minutes? My hair's wet.
It's all right. We're sorry to bother you.
What can I do for you?
You've got a fur coat, Miss Shepard.
Yeah, sure.
Wonder if we could see it, please.
Sure, but I don't think it'll trouble you. It's only muskrat. I bought it in Pittsburgh.
Where is it, in the clothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's down the hallway, first door on the right.
I think I know where it is.
What's this all about, Lieutenant?
What time were you at the Western Fur Shop today?
Oh, I'd say 3 o'clock. Why?
What'd you do while you were down there?
I got my coat out of hock. I had it there during the warm weather. Paid the man, signed something, and he put the coat in a box, and I took it.
Mm-hmm. Do you know Mr. Kreiber down there, the man that owns the store?
You got me. The man was about 50. His hair was a little gray. I hardly even looked at him.
This is the only fur coat, Joe.
Could have passed for mink when I first bought it. It's pretty sad now, isn't it?
Not mink. I'll give that closet a last check.
All right.
What happened? Did somebody steal a coat?
Was anybody else in the store while you were there?
Yeah. Yeah, there was another girl there.
What was she doing?
Nothing, just sitting.
Do you remember how she was dressed?
She was wearing a gray suit, slacks, blonde. Her face wasn't much, but she had a neat little figure.
Do you remember anything else about her?
Well, I didn't pay that much attention.
Anything else in there, Ben?
Not a thing, Joe.
Maybe I'd better take this towel off my head. It doesn't look so hot when it's wet, but it's natural. It's natural red.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you might be able to tell us?
I think that's about all. I gave the man my claim check and the money. And he got the coat and put it in a box and gave me a receipt.
Mm-hmm. Nothing else?
No. No, when I got the receipt, I saw the blonde walk over and pick up the telephone. I was just leaving then.
Did you hear any of the conversation?
She asked for Western Union.
You are listening to Dragnet, the case history of a police investigation presented in the public interest by Fatima Cigarettes.
If you smoke a long cigarette, it will be in your interest to listen to a typical case history of a Fatima smoker.
It's the case of Edith Gwynn, well-known Los Angeles columnist. This is her actual signed statement.
It's my job to keep up with what's going on around town. And here's one thing I've noticed lately. More and more people smoking Fatima. You certainly can tell why once you smoke them. I found them milder than any other king-size cigarette, and that's important to me. Yes, I agree. It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
And so do more and more smokers every day. Actual figures show extra mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast.
So enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself.
The king-size cigarette, which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild.
You will prefer Fatima's much different, much better flavor.
You will agree.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
The best of all long cigarettes.
Sunday, November 24th, 9 a.m. Ben and I contacted the owners of all the shops in the vicinity, but none of them saw or heard anything at the time of the shooting. Officers Brennan and Moncrief interviewed all the regular customers of Albert Kreiber's fur shop. Only 3 had been in the store on Saturday, but none of them had noticed anything wrong. 11:35 a.m. We spoke to Mrs. Kreiber again, but she could add nothing to her story. Her niece and nephew had been to a football game at the Coliseum in the afternoon and knew nothing had happened until they were telephoned by Officer Brennan. 2:55 p.m. We spoke to all the tenants of the apartment house at 5513 Lexington, which is in the rear of the fur shop. None of them had been home, but the owner told us that he had some men working on the roof of the apartment house at the time of the murder. Through the owner of the Durable Roof Company, we traced the 2 men who had been working on the roof, and they told us that about 4 o'clock they had seen a blonde dressed in gray slacks enter the parking space in the rear of Kreiber's fur store. They whistled at her, but she paid no attention to them. She got into an Oldsmobile and drove east on Lexington. 7 p.m. We checked in at the office and got word that Albert Kreiber's car had been located in a parking lot at Vermont and 8th. We drove down to the location and talked to the parking lot attendant.
Well, the car must have come in sometime last night. It probably came in the back way because I don't remember it coming in, and it doesn't have our lot tag on it.
Did you work all last night?
No, I finished at midnight and started at 10 this morning. I kept waiting for somebody to claim this thing, and after supper, I figured it might be stolen, so I phoned the police. It's been sitting here all that time.
Are there any keys in it?
No, sir. There weren't last night either.
Have you ever seen this particular car before?
No, sir.
Have you ever seen a blonde woman about 25 wearing gray slacks?
You mean hanging around here?
Yeah, or in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but not today or yesterday.
You remember one?
Well, yes, sir. Does she drink a lot?
Maybe.
Well, there's one that hangs out in these bars around here. Once in a while, she comes in the lot, but not lately.
When did you see her last?
Oh, a couple of weeks ago.
Was she with anyone?
Yeah, but I don't remember him. I've seen her with a lot of different guys.
Does she hang around with anybody in particular?
Yeah, her husband.
Before leaving the parking lot, we pulled the rotor out of the distributor so that nobody could drive the car away. 8:12 p.m. We called homicide and asked for more men to canvass the bars in the neighborhood. Ben and I staked out on the car. We sat in our car across the street from the parking lot until midnight. Nobody showed up to claim the car. The streets were almost empty. Our only chance was that the blonde lived in the neighborhood or was in a bar and would sooner or later try to claim the car. 1:53 a.m.
What rent do you suppose that Shepherd girl pays?
You got me.
75?
I don't know.
I bet I pay more than she does.
Is that Moncrief's?
Yeah.
Hi, Monk.
Hi. Let's take a look up the street. See that couple?
Where?
Coming this way. Blonde, gray slacks, fur coat. She's pretty drunk.
Where'd you spot her?
Turned the corner from Olympic. They've been looking in parking lots.
Monk, there's a rear entrance to this lot off the alley. Do you want to cover that?
Yeah.
Thank you. You see him all right?
That's it. When they walk under that light. Yeah. Pretty drunk.
Looks like the same kind of coat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stopping.
Looking for another parking lot, I guess. Sierra Valley Wine. World's finest muscatel.
And going into the parking lot.
She's not carrying a purse.
Those coats don't have pockets big enough for a .32 automatic.
That stuff sure gets people.
All right, let's go. We're getting in Kreiber's car.
Look, you can't even find the door. She's helping us.
You take the other side of the car, will you?
Yeah.
Stop pushing me.
Who are you?
Police officers. Can I see your driver's license, please?
I got a driver's license.
What's going on?
What's your name?
Betty Moore. What's it to you?
The registration slip on the steering column says Albert Kreiber.
What's the matter with this car, anyway?
Who's Albert Kreiber?
Oh, I know who he is.
This guy here.
Who is this man?
Huh? What do you say?
He's a friend. That satisfy you?
Friend.
What's the matter with this thing?
Take a look in the glove compartment, Ben.
Okay.
Come on, honey. Let's get going, huh?
Yeah. It's locked.
What do you want in there for?
Let me have those keys.
Hey,
Here you are, Ben.
How about going home?
there's nothing in there.
Let's go.
Here's a purse.
Give me that.
You keep your hands on the wheel.
It's a gun, 32.
It's his. It's empty anyway.
What do they want?
Nothing wrong in that.
Do you have a permit to carry it?
Yeah, I got a permit.
Can I see it?
I lost it. Give me those
You
keys.
keep your hands on that wheel.
Here's a wallet, identification cards, Albert Kreiber.
Where'd you get these?
I don't know.
The man's watch, Albert Kreiber engraved on the back.
Who's Albert
I
Kreiber?
don't know, I told you.
All right, let's get out of the car.
Hey, let's push.
Why didn't that car start?
All right, come on. Stand up. You get over there.
Where'd you get the fur coat?
I bought it.
Where?
I don't know.
Joe, look at her slacks.
Wine stains. I spilled wine on them.
What kind of wine?
Muscatel.
Muscatel isn't a red wine, it's a white wine.
Who's Albert Kreiber?
I don't know.
This is his wallet. This is his car. Where'd you get him?
I don't know. I don't know.
This the gun you shot him with? This the gun you shot him with?
I was going out with him. He said he'd give me a fur coat. He promised me a watch, and he never gave me one. And then we sent a telegram to his wife and everything. He gave me a fur coat and take me out. He backed out of me.
So you shot him?
Sure I did. He promised me the coat. He said I could have any coat in the shop. He promised me.
What are you crying for? You got the coat.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On February 27th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 86, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to extra mild Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, Extra Mild Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the king-size cigarette that is extra mild.
Extra mild because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild, to give it a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
It's wise to smoke extra mild Fatima.
Betty Moore was tried and convicted of second-degree murder and received sentence as prescribed by law. She is now serving her term in the state penitentiary at Tehachapi. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Next, here's Sarah Berner in Sarah's Private Caper on NBC.